Because of the following special program, Mr. Merlin will not be presented this evening.
Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon Listeners. Coming February 21st, it's Faye and the Moon, the latest graphic novel from Franco and the Saturn Sisters. Faye, mourning for her missing mother, sits night after night below the moon that her mother loved dearly. One night she discovers she can pluck the moon out of the star-filled sky. Back safe in her house, she holds it close, feeling comfort at last. Then Faye loses the moon and finds that taking it has awakened ancient monsters, rats, dragons, and more, who hunt for it for themselves. Will Faye be able to reclaim the moon, find her own inner strength, and save the world from eternal darkness? Faye and the Moon comes from the minds of Franco, whose works include Tiny Titans, Superman of Smallville, Archimaniacs, Itty Bitty Hellboy, and The Ghost and the Owl, and art from the Saturn Sisters, whose animated works include Sesame Studios' The New Neighbors, Hulu's The Awesomes by Seth Meyers, and PBS's Mira, Selkie from the Sea. Pre-order Faye and the Moon now. Available in bookstores and comic shops everywhere, February 21st.
Oh, yes. Hello. Welcome
Hello there.
to our podcast of the Oh Yes.
Welcome to the Podcast.com.
Episode 349?
Eight.
I was off by one.
340.
Not even close, because as we know, we schedule these like the Farmer's Almanac. All right, there's going to be Twister season. Then we'll have an Aya podcast about every 60 days, as the harvest moon predicts.
It's true.
Yep.
We were due. This is a good day.
What circumstances of events have drawn us all together on the same night?
The multiverse.
Actually, also, and I got to bring up I don't have the image ready, shame on me, but it's part of Scoot's background. We know why we're all together, because in about a month, we'll be convening at McCormick Place on a Sunday morning, April 2nd, for a new C2E2 live Aya panel.
C2E2.
So that means we're going to be doing a live pod from C2E2, which means that we'll be doing 2 pods within 30 days of each other. Is that?
Yeah.
Just about.
6 months.
That's a lot for us.
That's
5 weeks, something like that. Yeah.
Average of 1 a month.
We're not going to have anything to talk about by then.
We're going to make up new stuff.
We'll just repeat this one.
Wayne refers to you, Scoot, as his doppelganger. You look nothing like Wayne, and vice versa. It's kind of like when you put your mask on and tell me you're C-3PO, and I'm like, you don't look at all like that.
I thought they were brothers.
Yeah.
They do look similar.
Well, that's like Canadian Yoko Chips and I. We're
Mhm.
we're similar in demeanor, but I wouldn't say we look alike.
And girth.
Have you seen? Well, that goes to that thing. I make up 2 Canadian Yoko Chips. You know what I love about Canadian Yoko Chips? He has, and no disrespect, Scoot, because your daughter is also adorable. Like, we should have an adorable party with Scoot's daughter and Canadian Yoko Chip's daughter. They are very cute kids.
Oh, it's true. Yes.
Yeah.
I could see them having a Tiny Titan tea party with Batgirl and Supergirl.
With
And
the fingers up.
yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're
It's
having
good.
a tea party for her in a couple weeks for her 3rd birthday.
Wow, she'll be 3.
Yeah, she'll be 3.
Gosh.
Adorable.
Yeah.
Wow,
She lives
that's
in the
great.
princesses, so Kendra's doing a tea party thing.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Kendall is. That's nice.
Yeah.
I want to come. I want to
Kendall.
take that drive. Kendall.
Yeah,
Push
3
Kendall.
years ago she was in labor and the nurse called her Kendall. And I thought of
Did you?
Johnny.
And Kendra's like,
Yeah.
God damn it, John.
Curse you. Curse you, Yoko Chips.
Well,
Also,
she's giving birth.
unbeknownst to
Where
everybody,
about me?
from the IV drip, there was a single glove hanging from the IV drip. So
Very
Little
true.
Rubber purple one.
Yeah, when they go to put those mittens on the kids so they can't scratch their eyes, they only put one on because one of them was missing. It's
True.
in Johnny's living room.
I have a picture of me as a newborn, and I got the little mitts on. And
Oh,
my
yeah.
dad used to call me Champ because I was also a very lumpy-faced baby. I think I came out of my mom sideways or something, but there was I looked like I had gone 15 rounds with a box or whatever. And because I'm like, why does Dad call me Champ? And then they showed me the picture. I'm like, oh, okay.
did they have cameras back then? I didn't know that they
Yes,
had cameras.
it's a Matt Brady tintype. Absolutely.
Yeah, it would take 15 minutes. Okay, hold the pose.
Right. Hold still. 1 Missouri, 2 Missouri, 3 Missouri.
But look at him now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yoko Chips live on video every day.
Not good.
Live.
He's
Not-
just
I
a
know.
floating head
Artie,
of the Phantom Zone.
Yeah.
Artie, I was telling Francis before we started. Honestly, I've had a really good week. I had as Greg Zoller, the director of Bone Tomahawk and many other wonderful movies, and he has a new comic book out Tuesday morning. Dave
cool.
Gibbons, hello. Do you
Hello.
mind- John, do you
Cheerio,
mind-
Pip Pip.
Yeah, do you
Hello.
mind doing it in the afternoon my time? I'm like, all right, that's 9 a.m. my time, but of course, Dave, it's Dave goddamn Gibbons. Of course, I'm going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Frickin' Gibbons.
good day on Wednesday, I had Jeff Lemire on, who I love, great man, and
Yeah.
he's going to be at ALA already.
He's himself.
Oh, yeah, I'll be at ALA. I have a
Yes,
schedule
indeed.
of things. Yeah.
I might
very
be
least-
there too.
I was going to say, at the
Oh,
very
cool.
least, Artie and I
Yeah.
are going to be there.
There's
Hopefully,
a possibility I will be there as well.
Whoa, reunited.
Yeah, Oni is working
Converging.
on me and Dave Scheid badges so we can promote Slam
Oh,
and
cool.
Wrap Up.
Nice.
I'm hoping I get a room. I'm trying to get a free one, but we'll see
Oh,
what
yeah.
happens.
I'll stay there
When is
Yeah.
this event?
In June.
end of
June.
June. Yeah,
at McCormick.
Yeah, for books.
It means I'll get Harold's.
American Library. Yeah, we'll be at Harold's. It'll be warmer too.
I
It's
just
not
watched
that-
my brother's video from Harold's from like 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, cool, man.
Oh, you're starting to prep for C2E2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
This Dante says, "Congrats for your daughter, Scoot."
Oh, thank you.
Oh, yeah, 3 years.
And Dante has a good opening question,
No questions.
no. So who went to see Cocaine Bear already? I have not.
I'm not
yet.
sure if I,
I want
ever
to.
will.
I want to. I heard it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I know the true story, but I don't know the movie story.
I hear it's no cats, so I don't know.
Okay, I'll probably
Exactly.
never see it.
Artie, I probably will never see it either because I'm like,
I want to bet that you're both wrong. That you'll eventually both see it.
Wayne
You know what?
saw
It was so.
I've been hearing good things about it.
Yeah, I'll probably see it.
Don't
but-
you guys feel like it's one of those things where the idea of it is probably funnier than the actual thing?
Yes,
Maybe.
it's like Sharknado. It's the Sharknado of this
Yeah.
season, and I'm like, put Sharknado, Cocaine Bear, and Snakes on a Plane on a triple feature.
And Garfield.
Yeah.
Do you
No.
know the actual story, Skoke? I know the story.
Gee, I wonder
Tell
from the
us.
title if we could break down what the actual story might be.
What's the story? Tell us.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think this bear just ODs on cocaine if dies, but in the movie they make him go crazy. And he's like,
It's-
yeah.
so it's
chasing-
based off a real.
Yeah,
event?
it really
Yeah.
happened. Yeah.
Wayne says
Didn't know
it's
that.
hilarious.
Yeah. See.
Because I thought it came out streaming, and it was so popular they put it in the movie theaters. Is that true?
No,
Never
it's
came
all-
out
it was-
streaming,
Nope. It was
or maybe
always,
just the trailer. Maybe the trailer went viral. Was that it? I don't know.
Yeah. Trailer went viral, but it was always slated for the movies.
Oh, I didn't know that because
No,
I know
it's a
Baby
good-
Han Solo's in it.
It's a
Han
good
Solo guy.
for
And
the-
it's Ray Liotta's last role too.
that's true.
Oh, is he the
But, you know,
bear?
it's like
Yeah.
Snakes on a Plane, Sharknado, where there are A-list actors in it, like Ray Liotta and Kerry Russell from
Yeah.
Rise of
Yeah.
Skywalker, and of course the Americans FX TV show
From
and
the Star
Felicity
Wars.
Day.
Felicity TV
Full of
show.
shitty TV.
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah.
she had the big, beautiful hair.
And then she chopped it off, and now no one
Yep.
knows who she is.
Ruined her career, right?
Yep. Mhm.
Same with that
Right,
dancing with wolves lady who changed her nose. What's
She's
it?
still doing.
Dancing something, not with wolves.
Dirty dancing.
Dirty dancing lady.
Corner box says Ray Liotta plays the cocaine.
That's
Yes,
what,
he
yeah, I
does.
was going to say that.
Yeah.
Jennifer Grey. She's married to Agent Coulson from the Marvel movies.
Is she really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jennifer Grey. How you doing? Listen, I made Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Now
Yeah.
I'm in that It's Like You Know
Yeah.
LA Seinfeld show.
Phil
The
Coulson
person
had
that-
Phil
so much-
Coulson had the time of his life.
Hey,
God
so
bless
I
him.
thought I knew who you were, but I couldn't
Oh.
place your face.
At the
Yeah.
time of my life.
Mhm.
Well, very good.
Yes,
Like,
good.
you could tour with the little blonde guy from the Righteous Brothers. You could be Bobby Hatfield, I believe is his name.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
nice.
you're good Bill Medley imitation there.
You
Frank.
could
No
probably
one
do
knows
it.
who that is.
I know. I'm
Probably
doing
do. I know who that is, Johnny.
I'm doing that for the ghost of Dick Clark. He would know who I'm talking about, basically.
Yeah,
You're ghosting Dick Clark. You're
Dick.
ghosting a Dick Clark.
yeah, Penis Clark.
True. I mentioned before the pod that I had a great Gigantic Jeff story
Yeah, yeah.
regarding movies.
This shirt made me look gigantic. Yes, it's the shirt.
Jesus, man. How hard did you have all four of you do the Gigantic Jeff voice to me?
I had a pet that was a cocaine bear.
I did a gigantic Jeff voice for my nephew. He loves it. He's one.
And I saw that little guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I go, I'm 3 episodes behind. I'm sorry.
He's one. To you,
Yeah.
he is. You are gigantic Jeff to him.
I am.
Gigantic skunk.
So he's like, hey, my mom, she's getting up there, but she still likes to go to the movies. I'm like, sure. And he goes, I gotta tell you, man, I took her to 80 for Brady. She loved it. And I'm like, that's great. And he goes, if I had money and I was a Hollywood producer, all I did was make movies that are geared towards senior citizens. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
you're right, man.
Like cocaine bear.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah.
But wow, it's like Tommy Lee Jones back in Space Cowboys being like 10 or 15 years younger than everybody else in the movie.
Hey, Slick.
Sally,
That's right.
hold on. Sally Field's like barely in her 70s, and she's doing it with Rita Moreno and Jane Fonda and all the other old ladies that are
When
in
you
it.
live in America.
Yeah, that's hot. That movie.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Was that the story?
Yeah, that's it. That's
Oh, I
his
like it.
observation that he wants to make senior citizen movies.
I thought we cut you off.
No, that's it.
Oh, that's cool. There should be more movies for senior citizens.
How about the movie Out to Sea, starring Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau, and the villain is played by Brent Spiner of Star Trek fame.
Data.
Oh.
Hello, Data.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
saw that in the
more,
theater.
Yeah, grumpy old. I mean, that was like the third grumpy old man movie, and then
That was with the dance. That girl who dances with the red hair.
And
She's
Mark
in
Rock.
that. And Margaret,
Oh,
she's in that, and she's
she's a
still.
grumpy. Yeah,
She's. Oh,
I like
man.
their appearance in the Flintstones as Anne
Diane-
Mark Rock.
Yeah,
Diane
Margaret.
Cannon was one of the old ladies in Out to Sea.
Diane Cannon.
Oh
There
yeah.
you go.
The lady.
But yeah, that
She had
How-
the Felicity style hair back in the day.
oh
Diane
yeah,
Cannon.
yeah, that
Yeah.
kind of perm wavy look.
Yeah, perm wave.
absolutely.
Yeah.
How about
Sure.
Lena Horne? Hello.
Lena
I'm
Horne.
Lena Horne.
Yeah.
Kevin says 80 for Brady was the most popular, was the most people in line for a movie in 3 years, and no one was under 60. It's true, man.
What is
Well,
that
yeah,
80
seniors-
for Brady?
Oh, you don't know about that one, Artie?
I have no idea what that is. Sounds like a football movie.
It's
Did you
about,
watch,
yeah,
you watch the Super Bowl? They had
I did.
ads for it on the Super Bowl.
It's a
with
football
Jane
movie.
Fonda and Rita Moreno, and they all go see.
Oh,
Tom
yeah.
they're all ladies in their
Oh, I
80s.
do know that, yeah,
are,
but,
are moist for Tom Brady.
Oh, really?
Moist.
Up
Oh, so
until then, they were all dry.
So the 80 is their age. 80 for.
They were
Yeah.
all dry and dusty, and then
there's-
they saw Tom Brady.
That is a good trailer. That looked fun.
Not to get too clinical, but that Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin, and Jane Fonda also in 80 for Brady. And I love Lily Tomlin. Jane Fonda and them have good chemistry.
It's
But
the 9 to
that
5
was one
girls.
of the storylines in Grace and Frankie, their Netflix show,
Yeah.
that they
Mhm.
made lubrication for old ladies who
Oh,
were dry down there.
Yeah,
I know, sorry.
yeah.
Everybody enjoy your dinner.
Linda
Is there-
Carter's an old lady though, so you got to remember that, Artie.
Yeah, but she's
Oh
still
my
flying. God bless
Well,
her.
that's what I
She's
mean.
fine.
So
She just ordered a new aircraft. Man, she's good to go.
She has
Same
her
with
own
Salma
terminal
Hayek.
still. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
Salma's preparing. She's watching what's going on in front of her and saying, "I could do that, but I could do it better."
Remember on Golden Blonde? On Golden Blonde. That's the
Golden
blonde version.
Blonde. Wrong movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, wrong movie.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm Thea
Remember that?
Jr.
Yeah.
Oh, Ethel. I'm Henry Fonda. Me and
I want to go.
Kate Hepburn are going to shake hands because that's all we can do anymore.
We should all go see that. A group outing, and podcast group outing to the movies to see 80 for Brady.
80 for Brady.
Yeah, let's go see it. We'll wear our jerseys
All right.
and our little
We should live stream while we watch it.
We'll,
Jane Fonda banners,
we'll do the All Chicago one. We'll have Joe and the guys from Skokie come out and we'll all see 80 for Brady.
Yeah, and we'll bring Gigantic with us.
Over by there.
Yeah, I got the seats already. All right.
We'll bring some Rico Bennies in there with us.
Oh, my God.
I'm
We'll
sorry.
probably be the only ones there.
I love you guys. I will see you all weekend at C2E2. But that said, no Harold's, no Rico Bennies, or else I'll be doubled over in pain.
Really? Well, we're going to miss you.
Stomach can't hurt. I'll see you afterwards.
How about Miller's Pub, Johnny?
That's always my go-to if people want to go to a dinner and they want to get away from it all. But we'll see. We'll see what they want to do.
Sometimes you want to go. Yeah.
To get away from it all.
Mm-hmm.
You go to Kokomo for that.
Oh,
Or you go
Aruba,
to East
Jamaica.
Palestine, Ohio, like
Aruba.
former President Trump did.
Is that what he did? Went
Yeah.
to Pacos?
Tell us all about it, Scoop.
Well, I'll tell you guys, and then Skocast to really tell you guys.
It
He
translates.
brought a bunch of water bottles to the people there because they had that train derailment that turned into a massive
Did he really?
plume in
throw
the
them at
sky
people's
because
heads
they had
like you
decided
did
to
the
burn
paper
these
towels?
chemicals for some reason.
Did he throw the bottles to him like he did
Yeah,
with those
he threw
paper
hats,
towels?
threw red hats, MAGA hats.
Did he? Well, their heads were cold. That makes sense.
They were speculating that this water, he probably just put the label Trump Water on there
Yeah.
because the actual Trump Water company went out of business in 2013.
Right,
Yeah.
10
So
years ago.
either these bottles were super old or they were other water bottles that they just put the label on there.
Yeah, he's
I can
probably
see
got
that.
like 50,000 labels in his
Is
back
that-
pocket.
Yeah, we
I
drink
called that
we drink
warehouse.
water.
They said, sir. They called me sir.
It's the best water, frankly. So many people are saying it. It's wonderful. You drink it, and everyone will look like me. Who wouldn't want this? It's
You want to
So
get
good.
moist? You drink my water.
everybody wants to. I'm the favorite president, number 45, better than Lincoln, better than Washington.
Apparently, he was at McDonald's.
He
and,
did.
uh,
Yeah.
and was like name checking the menu.
Yeah.
So let's hear a little of that, Scope. Like going over
Let's
the menu.
see. There's so many options here. You got the dollar menu. We got you can get one of those ice cream sundaes. You put some nuts on there. They put the they
They
never
still
put
got the
enough
McDLTs.
the McDLTs. They never put enough hot fudge on there. But you can get some of those tremendous McDonaldland cookies. We love the McDonaldland cookies.
Do they still have those?
They do,
No.
and some
Yeah.
of them are shaped like Grimace. We love
I was gonna
Grimace.
say, can I get one shaped like Grimace, please?
We like Grimace.
Fun fact: what is Grimace supposed to be?
I know.
Spilt milkshake.
No,
Yeah.
he's supposed to be a taste bud.
Ew. No, he was a milkshake. Spilled a chocolate milkshake.
Whole thing.
Taste bud?
He's supposed to be a taste
We
bud.
had,
I've
we had a
heard
guy
that.
at my sports radio station that would imitate David
I don't
Stern
like that.
doing the NBA draft, and he'd be like, "With the 7th pick, Philadelphia 76ers from the University of Maryland, power forward, the Grimace." Or he'd say from Hamburger University, the Grimace.
I always like the pancakes there. I don't know why. They're like rubber, but I just like them.
The hot cakes.
In the syrup container, it would always have like a skin over the top.
Yeah. Syrup skin. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's to
And you
keep
need
all the moist inside.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you need
Unlike
to
the
eat
80
everything.
from Brady ladies, exactly. They need a film.
Yeah.
They need a McDonald's like skin to keep the moisture.
80 skin.
Everything
need-
tastes good at McDonald's, even though it's not good for you. Everything tastes good, but if it's cold,
Yeah.
it tastes horrible.
I was gonna say they got to eat it before it cools off.
There's a
Yeah.
used car dealership on Western Avenue right by where I live, and their office is an old McDonald's, the way the restaurants were built in the 50s and 60s, or I guess 60s and 70s. And they have a giant sign that is like the old McDonald's shaped sign and everything. But it blew my mind because they stripped down the sign to put new graphics on the sign. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's a McDonald's sign. And I looked at the building. I'm like, that is totally the way the original McDonald's looked. If you see that movie, and it's on Netflix again now, The
Yeah.
Founder, the Michael
Yeah.
Keaton movie, you
I
see
bet,
the
man.
original design of those.
It had two arches, and
in
when
the building.
it was
Yeah, on
supposed
top
to
of the
be like Yeah, when you drive past, it forms an M. That's what it's supposed to do.
I had no
By your
idea.
yeah, that's
Wow.
perspective. Yeah, forms the M from far away.
I
It's
bet,
true.
man.
You know,
I
it's
like the
sad.
idea of Trump's entourage driving past that used car place, and he's like, "That looks like a McDonald's.
Wait a
That could
minute.
have been a McDonald's."
Let's get a McDLT. They keep the hot side hot, the cold side cold.
I need a McFlurry.
You
They're
know,
like,
we
"Sir,
got
we only have cars." They called me sir. They told me, "Sir, we only have cars."
Where do
we
you
got
guys see
30
all this
minutes to
stuff?
kill. Let's get over to that play place. We get
I'm going to swim in the ball pit.
I'm gonna sit on one of those little hamburger seats.
There was that hamburger thing. It was like the police hamburger guy. You would crawl up into the
Yeah.
trunk of it. It was almost like a tree, and then you get stuck up in the circular hamburger shape.
You remember that was Big Mac? Was the
Yeah.
guy.
Oh, that's it. Yo, Big
Yeah.
Mac. We love Big Mac.
And Mayor McCheese.
Of course, Mayor
Big
McCheese.
Mac,
Mhm.
yeah.
He was arrested for corruption, I believe,
Was
with
he?
the Hamburglar. Yeah, the Hamburglar was.
And the Hamburger
Sounds
was
cheesy to me.
downright demonic, and now he's all goofy.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I haven't seen him lately. I haven't seen
Oh,
him.
the burglar. Yeah.
Well,
Looked
they don't
like a
even
little
have
troll.
any of those characters anymore. They got rid of all of them.
Not even
Did they
early
really?
bird. Birdie
Yeah.
the early bird.
They retired all of them. Even Ronald.
You know?
Do you know that? Like,
You
Yeah.
can't retire a Ron- They got
He's
the
out
little
of job.
even the charity, the Ronald McDonald House.
No,
in
look
it.
at he's not on any commercials. They redid all the McDonald's. They got rid of all that stuff.
You know, this is the same kind of thing that's happening all over this country.
'Cause
McDonald's
clowns
went
are scary.
woke. They got rid of Ronald because of Pennywise.
They're getting rid of
Really?
Because
the
of
play
Pennywise.
place.
No, I don't know why. I don't know why.
Ronald McDonald's gonna kill me.
I like McDonald. Ronald.
In my cabinet at school, it's a paper cabinet, and the kids all know that they could go get paper there. But in the back, there's all pictures of Ronald McDonald and Pennywise the clown. And kids will always ask me like, "Why is that in there?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about."
I like
I
all
don't know,
that.
man. I don't know.
Do you ever realize, you know, those play parks with the big cheeseburger and all the parks in the other play? They had all these giant slides in all the parks. Did you ever crawl up the tube with the ladder in it when you were a little kid?
No.
Whenever I did, it always smelled like pee in those things.
Ew.
Like, why does it? I never understood why it
That
smelled
was
like pee.
that was the iced teas that they served.
You
there.
have bad
smell.
encounters with like little kids and inappropriate urination wherever you and your family go. I know the hotel story. Of
Yeah,
course.
whenever you could pee, you take that chance. Yeah,
Hey Artie, you ever go into the Burger King ball pits? You ever been in those?
never have. I'm always weird about that. I don't want the balls to touch my skin. You know, that goes for any situation, by the way. You know?
Dante says it always made me wonder why they stopped using Big Mac and Mayor McCheese after Early Bird was introduced. Did they find Mayor McCheese and Big Mac embezzling money from Mickey D's or something? Yeah.
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 Something weird about that. Early Bird came out, and Early Bird was the first one who was obviously, it felt like a kid. I don't know. She was weird, a weird little bird. I don't think she fit with him, but that's when everyone else got cute. When Early Bird came in, they changed the hamburger. They got rid of the pirate. Remember the pirate?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the fish sandwich. I guess.
Captain Cook, and then they got rid of. There was a professor. He had a little white coat.
Yeah,
and a
I
big
remember
wrench.
him. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
So
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
represented the fries?
The Fry
Fry
Guys.
Guys.
Fry Guys.
Oh, Fry Guys. Yeah,
They
yeah,
look like
yeah.
those guys. They look like those a little bit.
Yep,
They look like those guys, but they were
We should do an
fuzzy.
80 for McDonald's commercial or a film.
That's
Yeah.
that's how you thin out the herd, man. You send a bunch of octogenarians to McDonald's. My heart.
They just want to. Yeah, they just want a cup of coffee, and that's all. Then they sit there for hours with the cup of coffee.
Remember the
I
old
know what-
lady that got scalded by McDonald's coffee and like made $100
Yeah.
grand or whatever?
Yeah, they made
everybody-
fun of it on Seinfeld episode.
Yeah.
That's
Kramer
the
got
reason-
burned
Yeah,
by coffee.
that's the reason all the cups have caution signs on them now.
Even the shopping carts at Target have that caution may be hot. I'm like,
Mhm.
there's nothing in there. Like, I don't. It's false. They're
And
lying to
their
me.
coffee, other than being hot, was really bad for a long time. And they finally worked on the formula, and now McDonald's coffee is good.
Yeah, I like it. I'm a fan.
What's your all right, Artie? What's your go-to coffee place to get fast food coffee? I mean, whether it's Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks, or McDonald's or Burger
I
King.
like them all. When I go to Skokie and buy coffee for the guys, I stop at Dunkin' Donuts and it's perfect. But when I go to write somewhere, I like Starbucks. When I sit there and write, I like that. It has a different thing. So, and even diner coffee. I like diner coffee in the morning
yeah.
with breakfast. Like
Yes,
Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks is not meant to drink with food. It's meant to drink because you need
That's
coffee and you're tired.
that's
But
not
like,
true.
no,
That is
well,
not.
that's how I feel.
Well, at
Like
least in the case-
Starbucks definitely strong.
No, but yeah, but
Yeah.
Starbucks. I was an assistant
Unless
manager
it's
for.
sweets.
But what they actually tell you what kind of desserts would work well with the specific coffees. Like
Right.
Indonesian coffee has a kind of lemony sort of taste to it, so they would point you to the
But they're
lemon
good
square.
for the
Oh,
desserts,
sorry.
right? I'm talking about breakfast, like eggs, bacon, and stuff. That's like regular coffee house coffee where a waitress comes by and pours it. So I prefer. There's different times for different styles.
You think one of these big
Yeah.
chains like Starbucks or anything would do a tie-in with Cocaine Bear? They should.
Starbucks Bear,
Happy
Don't
Meal
get cola.
toys.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola should.
I'm for it.
caffeine Bear.
I agree with Wayne. Tim Horton in Canada, their donut coffee is amazing.
Yeah, we have Tim Hortons all over Toledo too.
Do you? Wow, we don't have them. Hey,
Yeah.
this is Jamie Farr for Tim Horton's Coffee. You barely know who I am. You have no idea who Tim Horton is. But come drink the coffee.
Horton here's a who? What?
Yeah.
Horton here's something.
You
And
shit
then
here. What?
Kevin says Country Kitchen coffee was great in the day. I don't even know what that is, especially with breaded mushrooms after the bar closed. It's not dinner.
What?
It's not dinner.
What are you eating? Breaded mushroom?
I like all coffee.
With us, Kevin, with that kind of diet.
Is that like Old Country Buffet? Is that what that is? Country
We had
Kitchen?
those here.
Yeah, I like
OCB.
Old Country Buffet. I'm more of a Cracker Barrel guy than I am Old Country
Yeah,
Buffet.
you are a cracker.
Yes,
Racist.
thank
Racist
you,
log.
Matt. Tim Horton was a hockey player who died in a car wreck. Yeah, we know. I'm just saying.
What?
I'm saying Jamie Farr doesn't know, but thank you for playing. That's great.
I think they should work on that name for that place. 'Cause
So
it
wait, he
sounds
was in a
like
car wreck, died,
racist
and then
log.
started to make donuts? I don't get it.
Hey, I'm a fan. My buddy would go to Canada for business meetings, and he would bring back cans of Tim Horton coffee for us to make at home.
That's like when I brought pickles for you in
Hey, yes, that's right. The hot
I like
pickles
all
of Tony Pacos.
Damn, I want coffee.
I want pickles.
It's
Pickles
true.
and coffee. Now there's a good combo.
That's a good.
you
That should
could
be the name of this show. Pickles
You
and
could
coffee.
stir the coffee with the pickle, throw the
Yeah.
cream in there, and stir it up, and then bite the pickle.
That
Oh,
kid
look
says
at that.
He saw a Wakanda Forever promotion on a Sprite Zero bottle. Just saw one tonight at the bodega and thought, wait a second, didn't the Blu-ray just come out? And passed down the soda. Fascinating.
Oh,
But was it a real bodega? Did they have a cat like sitting on the counter, or else it wasn't a real bodega?
Did they sell individual cigarettes at the bodega? Yep. Hilarious.
We should do a comic called Bodega Cat.
it's great.
Oh my God, Perkins. I used to go to Perkins in Bloomington, Illinois when I was in college.
Peoria, they had one as well.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Very big in southern or central Illinois.
I am.
None of these places in New York.
That says Pickles and Coffee, the sequel to Tossed Salad and Scrambled Eggs.
Oh,
Which, by the way, have you guys heard all the latest about the Frasier revival?
He's
No.
in Boston. He's going to be in Boston.
what's happening?
That's
Yeah,
right.
he's going back to Boston instead of Seattle.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's gonna hook up with the old Cheers gang.
I hope so. I sure hope so.
I need to
Let's-
see
let's
Cliff.
hope.
I don't think John Ratzenberger and George Wendt are doing that much that they can at least show up for an episode or two.
Yeah, parents and here
They're
and
going
there.
to be in couples therapy with Frasier. It'll be great.
You know, Rats was in an episode of Poker Face that you can find on Peacock.
Skoke,
Those
I am
are two
hearing
bad
nothing but great things about Poker Face.
I think if you like those like Columbo style shows, you're gonna love it. You're
I
gonna
don't
love
like
this.
the title. I don't like the title at all.
Rucka and I were talking last Saturday night,
Okay.
and he's he loves Rockford and he loves Columbo and those kinds of Universal detective shows. And he's like, John, why aren't you watching this thing? It's amazing. And I'm like, all right, I trust you.
I don't like the
Calls
title.
me sir. I always appreciate that. Rucka calls me sir.
It
So,
sounds
You
like
know-
a Dick Tracy villain. Poker
I-
Face.
Well, the lead Natasha Lyonne is
Poker
excellent
Face.
in this
Poker-
show. She's really good.
I don't like it.
The first episode especially is good.
Mm.
good to know.
I don't want to say too much about it, but yeah. It's getting good reviews. I've watched. I'm all caught up. I've been watching the whole season.
Art, say your thing.
I'm never gonna watch it. I don't
Yeah,
even
man,
know
it
what it is, where to find it. I don't know what to do anymore.
We got a couple C2E2 comments and questions. Stanley wants to know, any plans for C2E2? Plans?
Yes.
Boom.
going.
Oh,
What are you
look at
talking
that!
Let me take
Boom!
down
That
the
was a good
topic so everyone
setup.
can read it clearly. So it's
Mhm.
Sunday. It's April 2nd. Here, I'll take the banner down. Sorry.
4/2/23.
There you go.
There it is.
Yeah, look at that.
Sunday, 11 a.m., April 2nd. Join us live. We will be there. We'll have, I'm sure Artie will go to Harold's and get a few buckets.
And
Yeah.
Skoke's got something to pass out, right, Skoke?
Scott's just
Yeah,
going to
thanks.
pass out, actually.
I'm just gonna pass out. Yeah, we're gonna have some posters
Really?
to give out, like the one behind Scoot there.
man.
Ooh,
There's another piece of artwork. Yes,
Die
this
humans.
was yeah.
I love it.
There's that's actually an 11 by 17 style poster. It's
It's called
pretty
the
neat.
Awe Avengers, if you
It
remember
looks
it.
good. It
from
looks really good.
2019.
Are you
So-
also going to announce the big news of the sequel to Spring Break Lawyer?
I look, yeah, I can't say anything right now. You know, Kevin Feige put a chip in everybody, so we're not allowed to talk about it.
Right,
But
right.
there are
Disclosure.
rumors that the Spring Break Lawyer is going to become part of the Marvel universe.
Finally,
Can't confirm or deny because I'll just end up in trouble. But
the Spring Break Lawyer reboot. It's like Picard. Whatever happened to those great? What happened to the fart guy 20 years
Yeah.
later? What happened to Judge Adrian Barbeau 20 years later? Absolutely.
Tentatively called Winter Break Lawyer. You know, they got to move it up next
Yeah.
season.
and what happened to the streaker? What happened to that guy? That's what
Indeed.
everyone really wants to know
Is he
about.
wearing a flesh cup? We need to know.
Yeah, what is he doing now?
That's like Troy McClure. You might remember me from such teen comedies as Spring Break Lawyer, where I played the fart guy. Kevin loves the mask shorts of Skokes.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Thank you.
cool, man.
Oh, yeah, that
Thank
was
you.
good.
For anyone who might not be familiar with what Kevin's referring to, I was in a short film called Mask that was released this week. We shot it back in 2019, and it finally came out this week. So that was really exciting. It's a good group. They call themselves Maplight Filmworks, and it's this 5 or 6 people who have made several films together. I've been in a couple other of their films, and they do a nice job. Great production quality and interesting stuff. So it was fun to see. I hadn't seen the film myself until it came out this week. So you can check it out on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
Maplight Filmworks. You can look up, and it's
And,
called
here,
Mask.
Let me be Johnny Carson for a second.
Of course.
We've got a clip from Spring Break Lawyer. Let's take a look.
Not guilty.
I like
Oh.
that.
Uh,
I see they put extra digital around your area.
Yeah, that's
They
a
should
compliment,
be.
Skoke. There you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
Well, I got to see the dailies, which means they didn't have time yet to put the blurring in. So I saw all of us running away with no blur.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
that was a different experience.
was anyone smoking a cigar
Uh,
while running?
That's
that might be in the sequel.
that's from Spring Break Lawyer 1.5. Remember when the Spider-Man movies would have extra footage?
Yeah,
They'd release it again on DVD, and it was like Spider-Man 2.5. So
extra footage.
Dowd says Alison Brie plays a streaker in her current movie, so you're in good company.
I love
Oh.
Alison Brie. I
I've
get
heard
some
about
stuff
this
from her.
film.
She's very good.
She's streak?
She's good. Oh, and there's
Not
rumors
sure.
of not rumors. I think it's actually happening. The Community movie, which I'm excited about. I love
Really?
that.
Oh, that's awesome. I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
Well, Joe
There's-
McHale's
there-
doing nothing. They should do that.
Yeah,
Never
he's got a
saw
new
that.
show on Fox. Animals. He's like an animal control guy or something like that.
You know, I am not paying attention to over-the-air network stuff, and I
Yeah.
finally saw from NBC. It's on Peacock.
Peacock.
American Car.
Poke Her Face is on Peacock.
Peacock.
It's on the cock.
Peep.
Mhm.
Also on there
Peak
is
Rooster.
Night Court. Has anybody seen the revival?
No,
Oh.
never
Oh.
gonna watch that.
I watched the
Watched it.
first episode, and it was. And then
I watched about
again
5
after-
episodes, and it went.
5
Yeah, it's not
episodes.
good.
Wow.
I have
It
to
look-
say, John Larroquette is excellent. with
Yes,
what they give
everything
him.
else,
What
yeah.
he does with what they
Sure.
give him is just, it's masterful to watch him. But it's like everything else is
Mhm. Yep.
don't
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about the new characters. And poor Melissa Rauch, who was so great on Big Bang, and
Yeah.
even that gymnastic movie that she made that where it was like a black comedy.
Oof.
Black comedy.
Everybody should watch that. My God.
But no, she's funny with the right material. Unfortunately, not very good material with Night Court.
You kind of want her to be the Big Bang Theory character on the court. Like if she was
agree.
the judge as that character, it would have been. I think more people would have tuned in because I
Maybe.
just saw trailers and clips, and I was like, nah, I don't need that. I don't need that time. Like I'll sit on a couch and watch it, and I'm like, damn, I should have been doing something else. That's what it'll feel like.
Not good.
Nobody
You know,
cares.
honestly, it feels like unless it's incredibly weird and quirky, it's hard to find a good traditional sitcom these days.
It's got to be quick. Like a lot of the jokes got to be quick. Like we watch. I was watching New Girl for a little while. I saw maybe the first season or two, but my daughter's really into it, and she's already on like season 4 or 5.
I like it.
I was watching it yesterday with her, and she came and sat by me. She said, "Dad, the show turned." I'm like, really?
Oh,
She
that's
goes,
too bad. Jump the
"Yeah,
shark.
yeah." That's what she said. What did they say? Jump the shark. What Fonzie did? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, yeah, the show did that because they were singing about raccoons. I'm like, oh,
Well,
what's happening?
You know,
It was
a
weird.
lot of people say Jump the Shark is when Happy Days went bad, but actually we had another 4 seasons
It got better.
after the shark jump. So somebody was watching. Thank you.
I
Eric.
blame it on Richie's mustache.
Very courageous.
You know?
I blame it on Richie's older brother.
Yeah, Ralph, or what's that guy's name? McGinty, that guy? Or Chuck. Chuck left. Well, Chuck knew. He got out right away.
Yeah.
Like, no way, man. I'm out of here.
You know what sucks, and I bet it has to do with the rights to the music, but Paramount Plus has 1 season of Happy Days, and it's so weird. It's so weird.
So weird, Julie.
It's the 2nd season, so Fonzie isn't living in the garage apartment yet. It's good. I like the first couple seasons.
Yeah,
we're
they're great.
doing more the Richie Potsy show, and it's about being a teenager in the 50s.
They run into Fonzie now and then. Yeah.
Yeah, and then and I mean Fonzie was in it, but yeah, he wasn't the main focus.
Mhm.
But that's the only season is the 2nd season, and I bet it's because all the music that they use, and maybe it's hard to clear the rights to the music.
Do you remember when Fonzie showed up with the season premiere with a beard?
Yes.
I was just talking to someone about that, and they had no idea what I was talking about. And during the show, that Mr. C helped him cut his beard, and then
I didn't remember that part of it.
well, he told him how to. He goes, "You got to start with scissors first," and that's how I always remember how to shave a beard because Mr. C telling the Fonz, "You got to use scissors." But then at the end of the show, they were selling the beard hair, to the girls who were outside waiting to see his face.
Yeah,
I thought that was cool. That's like
they were making makeshift merkins.
That's when Chachi was wearing the bandana on his leg.
Fonz hair,
jeans. And it was more about Joni and Chachi than Ralph and Potsy were still there. It's like they're like deadbeat guys. And shouldn't you guys have jobs by now?
Nothing happened. They stayed in high
still
school
in this town. Yeah,
they were still high school guys for like 20 years. They were like 40. And they're still trying to get chicks. Yeah.
You said that you learned how to cut your beard from watching that.
Yeah.
Different Strokes is where I learned how to tie a tie.
Really?
Yeah. So
I don't know
it's
that
these
one.
weird things from shows that because I remember you over and over again, and like he goes through the whole tutorial, and I'm like, I never knew that's how you tie a tie.
Yeah, I always
So I
knew
learned how to
from
tie a
that
tie.
show, Different Strokes. Be careful going to the bike shop. You know, so I always
Was
beware.
that WKRP
when he-
jump as the
he messed around with that little kid.
A very
What's his name?
special episode.
he gave him
Dudley?
wine. Hey
Felt
guys,
bad for Dudley. You know,
why don't you have a little wine, Dudley, and take your shirt off so I can take some photographs of it.
sit down over here. I just
A very
brought some
special
cake.
episode.
Yeah, don't go to the bike shop alone.
That's
Mhm.
awesome. Dowd says regarding Happy Days, Pat Morita's fun to see as Arnold, obviously, but then he found his stand-up after seeing Happy Days, and boy, was I in shock. Yeah, let's leave it at that. You know what's interesting though? Pat Morita did one of those oral history American television archive interviews, and he said Red Fox was so important to help him in his stand-up career, and along with Arnold on Happy Days. What a ridiculous name! His character on Sanford and Son was named Ah Chew.
Yeah, yeah, he was on there, right?
Hey, Achu, how you doing?
Was
He
he
was on
a
a lot of shows. He was on MASH. He was on
Oh,
a
yeah.
whole bunch of shows. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mish.
and he
was
didn't
his
have
stand up good?
he didn't have well his stand-up was good, but it would not play in today's worlds.
No.
Very racially oriented,
Yeah,
making fun of himself. I believe
Yeah.
a lot of Asians would not find it that way today.
yeah,
But I was gonna say what's awesome is he had this very California accent, his normal accent. So yeah, Mr. Miyagi and Arnold, that was all, show me Santa Floor and all that. It's like, no,
Yeah.
no, that's all an act. Or Mr. T and Tina, remember his sitcom? Where
I
he was
do.
he was like the Tokyo toy manufacturer, and his cop movie, which used to be on HBO
With
Max
Jay Leno.
with Jay Leno. It's called Collision Course. Wow,
Never heard
I
of it.
don't know. I don't know any of these.
this
things.
is great. Me and
That's-
Pat Morita, exactly. We're having fun. Tell you what,
Never
me and
gonna
Pat
watch
Morita,
that.
we're gonna make a movie, and it's gonna be great.
It's right up there with Spring Break Lawyer type. I'm telling you.
Run for the money.
Almost.
I don't know any of these things.
There you go.
It's true.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you're here. How do you learn?
What else do
That's
you know?
why I'm here. Yeah, I haven't watched a lot of things in a real long time.
I watched the Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumanias.
Oh yeah,
You know,
Ant-Man
that
and
a
the
good one?
Wasp.
hearing different things.
Ant-Man, we wouldn't allow you in the country club normally, but you're a friend of Iron Man, so we're making an exception. That's my imitation.
I liked it. I didn't love it.
all right.
So yeah.
My buddy Sal Crivelli was on last Friday with me from Comic Pop, and I'm like, "How's the new Ant-Man movie?" He's like, "It's fun."
It's another Marvel movie. That's
Well,
how they feel
how
like.
I felt like that with Doctor Strange too. I'm like,
Oh,
"It's all right."
I love that one. That's one of my favorites. But I felt like that with Black Widow. It was just another movie. Just a movie. It just happened in front of me. That's all. Nothing.
That new
special.
Guardians looks good. The new
Yeah,
one.
that looks cool. And the
James
Flash with Batman.
Flash, right?
My God.
Oh my gosh.
If they do, if the movie never comes out, the trailer's fine enough.
They
That's how
should
good
just
the
rename
trailer.
it. They should just rename it Batman and Friends.
I'm Batman. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just calling I'm Batman.
But I was hoping he would say it in the trailer, but then I didn't want him to because I want to see it in the movie. But when he said it, everyone
But I
cheered
love the
at our-
way he said it. He's like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
Yeah.
We haven't
That was
talked
good.
about the James Gunn slate of movies and TV.
Oh, look.
Oh
at
my
that.
gosh, what is
There
that?
it is. Well, honestly, obviously, with my various guests that I've had on Word Balloon, I've just kind of had this as a standby to see what everybody thinks, all the creators. First of all, and I had him on a couple weeks ago, beyond happy for Dan Jurgens with Booster Gold. That is so
Oh
good.
yeah. Did he create him? He created
Yes,
the character.
yes, he
Oh
did.
wow.
Yes.
He's gonna do good.
And also, isn't it interesting how Booster Gold started like in the early days of CNN, 24-hour news? And
Yeah.
that's what Dan was thinking of. And now with social media, isn't Booster Gold more relevant than ever?
It caught up. Yeah.
Yeah, literally, Artie, exactly. The culture caught up with Booster Gold.
Yeah,
It's like
Skeets
all
is
the-
like his cell
yeah.
phone.
Yeah.
Everything, man. And just the way that you could see him making viral videos of him doing super
Yeah.
stuff to get more gigs. I mean, it's kind of perfect given that he's from the future. So he knew where society was going. Booster
From
already
the future.
Yeah, and it's like Dick Tracy watches. Well, people could do that now, and then everything from Star Trek. You could
Yeah.
talk to, you could Zoom call from your car. All these different things.
No,
The
you're-
only thing we
yeah,
still need
absolutely.
is lightsabers and hoverboards.
They're
Oh
coming.
yeah, they're coming. Yeah. Probably
Speaking of
2025.
the not to get off topic of the DC stuff, but speaking of the
Like-
Dick Tracy thing, did you see the Warren Beatty Dick Tracy thing?
No,
Yes,
I want
I
to see
did.
that.
I did. I didn't click because
Describe it, Franco.
I don't like it.
So basically, he has the rights to the Dick Tracy
property,
property.
IP.
And-
yeah.
Yeah, so not to lose it, he did this
Mhm.
like weird interview thing with Leonard Maltin or
And Ben
whatever.
Mankiewicz, yeah.
Yeah, on
Turner
TMC
Classic
or whatever.
Movies.
Yeah, and it
yeah.
was weird. It was
Every
weird. And it
10
was all
years-
just, and it's basically just a big fu to because they won't let him make another movie. So he's like, all right, I'll just hold on
Oh.
to the rights.
Yeah.
I think, and I don't know if I've never read that it's, well, nobody will make him make a movie or allow him to make a movie. I think he just to maintain it and in hopes of eventually making a movie, he has to make something new every 10 years or the rights would revert back to the Tribune Company where Chester Gould created Dick Tracy for the comics. And
Mhm.
even in the early 2000s, they were talking about for the WB, even before it was the CW, making a new Dick Tracy modern police show. And Warbitty's like, hey, guess who has the rights? No, you're not going to make it. But you're right, Franco. It's 10 years earlier, he did a one-on-one with Leonard Maltin, and that was weird. And this one, he appears as both. For the most, it's 20 minutes long. For the first 10 minutes, he's just Dick Tracy in character. He's got the yellow raincoat on and the yellow hat, and he's complaining about the Beatty.
The little monkey.
Doesn't have the little monkey,
Okay.
but no monkeys were hurt during the making of this. But he little monkey, I got you right down there. But
I'll show you.
no, it's just weird, and he's complaining about the Beatty movie. It's a musical, and it doesn't have the realness that the Ralph Bird movies had in the 30s, or the movies that were made in the 40s. And then all of a sudden, Beatty shows up, and it's a Zoom like us. And there's one square of Dick Tracy and one square of Beatty, if you will, Master Beatty, if you will. And yeah, it's the weirdest conversation.
Master Beatty's all moist.
So they say. So how's it going over there, Dick Tracy? What's going over here?
Well,
Beatty?
they kind of negotiated that should they make a sequel, that Dick Tracy would have more input in the movie. And it's like, okay, whatever. But I agree with Matt. I do think the 90s movie is still fun. A lot of it due to the fact that Pacino is so hilarious.
Over the top, yeah.
Bad Guys were good in that, but I was so disappointed seeing it in theater. Thought it was one of the worst movies ever.
Some of the toys. Scoot, did you have the toys?
No, but I remember them when they came out. But
Prune face, flat top.
Yeah,
it came out in McDonald's toys.
Poker face.
It was not Poker face.
Jimmy the Muscle.
Jimmy the Muscle was in
there. We got to capture Jimmy the Muscle. Hey, how you doing, Tracy, dude?
Yeah, the All Yeah Comics crew has like their own Dick Tracy villains.
I'd love to go one-on-one with you, Dick, but I got
Gigantic Jeff.
I still got to figure out this watch, how this works. I don't know.
I'd like to go one-on-one with you, Dick. You just said.
I remember when the Muscle told me.
I gotta walk Vito.
When I told him, dude, you see that Star Wars trailer? I said, no, dude, I got to get to a computer so I could type all this out. Like, no, just press it. And he goes, boing. And he goes, it started playing. He says, I could have saw this 3 months ago. I'm like, yeah, man.
I know.
Way to go, Dick Tracy.
Yeah.
The Muscle's like a year older than me, but he acts like your grandfather with an iPhone. I could do what?
I got to get to a computer so I could type out each letter. Like, oh.
Very funny stuff. But yeah, I love the Tracy movie. No, the makeup was great.
I sent you guys a picture in the group text today that nobody commented on the sausage that I sent.
Say it, Artie.
I'm not gonna watch that. I don't know what it is. I have no idea what you're talking about.
No.
You're talking about the no, that's Artie that did the Stooge picture.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. This is where I'm an old man. I can't transfer images from my phone to put on the computer here. But Artie found a new group that was basically cosplaying the Stooges. And Skoke, is that true?
Yeah.
The guy that was playing Larry is Curly's grandson?
Yeah, for some reason, the guy playing Larry in this trio of Stooge impersonators is Curly's grandson. He doesn't get to play Curly.
Well, that's because he sucks as Curly, as we saw in Cameo. But hey, he does a pretty good Larry, Mo.
Yeah, they're funny. Those guys pop up in my Instagram. I get weird stuff in Instagram. I get Stooges, I get dancing girls on roller skates, and I get babies. So I don't know what it is. What am I looking at? I understand the girls on roller skates, but babies show up all the time, like just doing things. I think it's because I saw videos when the baby's all tucked in and you unwrap them and they stretch. And I like how that looks. But they, because I remember my kids.
No, it's a good thing that you're talking to us and not to the public right now.
But I remember when I brought Audrey home, a little tiny, brand new baby, I'd have her wrapped up all the time, and
keep her warm.
And she would sleep like all day. And I called the doctor. I was like, "What do I do? Like she's sleeping like 20 hours a day, like." He never wakes up. But I check her on, and he says, you got to unwrap her and tickle her, wake her up, get her mad. I'm like, oh, okay. So every few hours I'd wake her up and do that, and she'd stretch, but she'd cry real loud and crazy. So I have to wrap her back up, and she'd fall asleep. So that's what that reminds me of when I see those babies like that. You know, I don't know.
Like a lot.
I like babies. Yeah.
All right, and we'll get through this fast because Franco and I will do a proper review every week or so about Star Trek Picard. But Stanley wants to know if we have any thoughts on the new Star Trek season. Yes, I'm enjoying it. Two episodes in. Franco, your thoughts on Picard?
Liking it better than the last 2 seasons, but we shall see. But so far, yeah, all the old favorites are back.
Yeah, I saw your guy on your show, Johnny, saying that the new Picards are going to be better than what you saw. Was that Inman? Jason? Was that him?
Oh, yeah, Jason, sure. Jason, he's not there anymore, but he was a junior writer on Star Trek.
Yeah.
Working with the new guys.
I watch your shows, and I chime in now and then. I watch as long as I can until something happens.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm never going to watch Star Trek, but I understand it's a thing.
You're right. No,
I got too much to go, man.
Matt, I agree with you. Gates McFadden still has it. In fact, that was my Instagram post saying she still got it. Yeah, she's so sweet. What a nice lady. Nice lady.
I saw that. It's a picture you took with her, right?
Yeah.
No, sounds like a made-up name you would make fun of him. Oh yeah, Gates McFadden.
It is. I think it's her middle name.
Not that fat.
She's my girlfriend from Canada. Yeah.
I like it. It's good.
I watched the first 2 seasons. I'm looking forward to the third. I think somebody posted, and I like Pink, that the first episode is free. So if anybody,
that might be. They do that
card.
Yeah, they do that on Paramount, and it's a great first episode. And we all like Star Trek. We're all big fans. I was watching the other day. I saw Jonathan Frakes came up to me and he said, "Sir," he always calls me sir. It's good. The character dynamic between Picard, the captain, and his former first officer, it reminds me of Shatner and Nimoy, and Shatner and DeForest Kelley, Bones.
They're all back now, right? The Generation guys.
Yeah,
that's what.
So far, it's much better than the first 2 seasons.
When I was talking to LeVar Burton about chicken wings and chili and stuff,
I was there.
He said that we're all coming. He said Picard told them to all get into shape for TV. That's what he said. He says, so they all started working out, and he didn't say they were coming back, but he kind of said it without telling us.
Sure.
But we're like, oh, cool. And then
Art told him to eat Harold's chicken.
Yeah, and I start making fun of the crew, the Star Trek crew, comparing them to X-Men, how the X-Men could all replace them. But I don't know, you guys heard all that already. I told him he'd make a good Cyclops if he brought back that visor.
That's true.
I did tell him that.
Peter David wrote a Star Trek novel that was a crossover between the Next Generation crew and the X-Men.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They make comics with that, right?
I don't know if they made comics, but they definitely made a novel of it, which is crazy. Cool. That Peter David, very good comic book writer, very good Star Trek novel writer.
Yeah. I did see there was comics with that. Yeah.
Wasn't there a comic
with Green Lantern crossover or something like that as well?
And Planet of the Apes too, I thought. Star Trek and Planet of the Apes.
Yeah. Oh, maybe they did. They did that a few years ago, right?
And right now Green Lantern and Planet of the Apes.
Did a Green Lantern story as well. Yeah. Yep.
Because right now Marvel's doing all the ape covers right now, but it's not in the story. I wish it was. We have a lot of monkey covers.
Dave Walker is writing the Apes comic, and Dave Wachter, former Chicagoan, is doing the art, and it looks great. It looks amazing.
Right, so it's a Dave Wachter joint?
Yes. Walker Wachter joint.
Waka Waka.
Yes, indeed.
I'm currently reading a Planet of the Apes book. It's called The Death of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh,
what?
It's by Andrew Gasca, who I believe, Johnny, you've had on the pod before.
Great guy. I like Andrew. Andrew writes really good ape novels. Yes.
He knows his apes material. I read the first one he did. I forget what it's called now, but
I can't remember either, but go on.
It was another novel, but it had paintings in there, like illustrations and paintings throughout.
Yes.
and that was good. And now this one, Death of the Planet of the Apes, I'm about halfway through, and again, it just you see his knowledge and his love of Planet of
cool.
the Apes in there. It makes it fun. I'm
You see they
enjoying it.
announced the Disney, or I think it's Disney. They announced the next one called Empire. I think it's called Empire to Planet of the Apes. I think that's what it's called.
Cool.
And that's going to be the fifth one or the fourth one, continuing from where that first trilogy, the second trilogy took off or whatever.
Yeah,
One
yeah,
with
the
Caesar.
Matt Reeves movie.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm looking forward to that. Hope it's
Andrew
awesome.
Andrew Gaska's novels. He tells a lot of backstory. Like he really followed the three Taylor, Landon, and what was the black gentleman's name?
Dodge.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He tells their story before the mission. He also, in one of his books, really gets into Dr. Milo, who was the third ape that went back to 1970
Salminio.
in Escape, exactly, Salminio. But they give his backstory. Dr. Milo's the guy, and they have this great painted illustration of them dredging from the ocean Taylor's ship. And Dr. Milo figured out how to reverse engineer it so that he can fly it, and that's how they survive the explosion that happens in the field.
I dissect.
I was going to say, thank you, Artie. Exactly.
You're welcome.
And the Death of the Planet of the Apes, the next book takes place. When Taylor disappears at some point during the Beneath the Planet of the Apes,
at the beginning of Beneath,
you see what happened, what's going on.
Oh wow! Behind the scenes,
torture him and stuff. And
I don't want to say much. But
I'm sure Zeus is torturing him, or somebody else maybe, because actually
mutants
seems to be a surprise to Zeus at the end of Beneath. Taylor, you're a man.
Yeah,
and of course the people who live underground. What do they say again?
Mutants.
What is their
To my God.
That's what I was looking for.
I reveal my true self as they die.
Oh, Yoko Chips. That guy too. Pedro.
I like the mutants in battle as well.
They That's just start deteriorating. They're starting to morph, whatever it is.
Right. Because it's
starting to get infected by the radioactivity.
Yeah. My pee is purple.
Oh, and it's shrinking.
That derailment of that Ohio train.
Yeah. You need some water, Jenny.
Trump water.
A lot of people are thirsty. They're thirsty. Well, I'm here to save the day.
God, I'm really glad you said that, Skoke. I got to get Andrew back on.
Yeah,
I love talking to him. And Wayne points out, yes, he wrote a Space 1999 book. He also wrote a Buck Rogers book with the Gil Gerard, Aaron Gray continuity.
Oh, cool. I was watching that for a while on one of these shows, one of these free channels.
In the year 1985. Buck Rogers. That was Glenn Larson, like a year or two after Galactica. And he would use the stock footage from Galactica in Buck Rogers. They had the same spaceships.
I
like the guy with the feather hair in Buck Rogers.
I like.
Oh yeah, lady. Hawk. He was like a Klingon. He was a warrior, but he was from a bird race. You're right. He looked like a bald eagle.
But I always used to get confused with that Hawk with the Hawk from Spencer for Hire because they were both Hawk.
Well, yeah, but one guy was a black guy and the other guy was not. So
but they were both named Hawk. So I got confused.
There's a lot of people named Hawk on
that happens with me and my friends named Mike too.
There's Commander Hawk in Star Trek First Contact, who gets Borgified when they're on the surface of the spaceship.
There's a Hawkeye that's an Avenger, and there's Hawkeye from MASH.
That's true.
I'm still trying to figure that out too.
I think it's great that I'm on the Enterprise. How you doing?
Smashed.
Is there a Klinger in the Marvel Universe somewhere?
Captain, please. Captain America, please.
I think he's currently dating Squirrel Girl. In the Marvel
I shined your shield for you, incidentally, and
they should make Klinger into a Klingon. That'd be good.
Oh, that'd be great. Hey, Kapla, everybody.
Hey, Captain.
I'm idiot Klinger.
Didn't Richard Belzer just recently passed away, and he played Lieutenant Munch on Homicide, and then SVU. Was he ever on Star Trek as Lieutenant Munch?
He was on Star Trek, but he is literally the TV character that has the most episodes playing the same character, and it's like over 180 episodes at least.
And across like 5 or 6 different shows too, not just.
He was on
It's all
X Files,
Mhm.
all the Law and Order shows, of course.
He was the same guy on X Files as he was on Law and Order.
Yes, he was
Yep.
Detective
Wow,
Munch.
that's
He's
cool.
Detective Munch.
But he
How you
was
doing,
also
Dave?
on some comedies or something. Now I got to look
Yep.
it up.
Well, and
'Cause-
again, a lot of times he's the comic relief on Homicide and Law and Order and stuff. No, it broke my heart, and I know that sadly he was really in poor health like the last several years. So it was not a surprise to read that he had passed. His wife, here's a little something for everybody, and it's available on the Internet Archive. His wife, Haley, I believe her last name was McBride before she married Richard Belzer. She was the star of this Cinemax TNA movie called Young Lady Chatterley. And yes, sir, she is. She's flying high.
Oh yeah,
She's still flying high for an older lady.
She
But
got
yeah,
a space shuttle.
it's free on the Internet Archive. So if you're
So
really curious-
Richard Belzer played Detective Munch on a record-setting 10 different television series.
Wow.
Law and Order Special Victims Unit, Law and Order Trial by Jury, Homicide, The X-Files, The Beat, Mony, M-O-N-Y, Sesame Street,
yeah, Big Bird, you know what I mean?
The
Yeah.
Wire, and Arrested Development.
Wow.
Wow.
Did you guys ever see the video where Hulk Hogan dropped a guy in his head? He choked him out on his show.
Sleeper Hold. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dropped
was
him.
on
He
a
was all
talk show.
bloody. He had to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
I think
Absolutely.
Hogan got sued for that too.
I
can't
believe you're
remember-
right.
He
Can't
choked
remember the
out-
outcome.
he
Belzer
choked
was
out
also
Belzer.
he was a JFK conspiracy guy that did a lot of investigations on the JFK thing.
Did he choke
Wow.
out Belzer? Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, Hulk Hogan choked him and he dropped him because all you gotta do is tell a wrestler it's fake, and then they get mad. Is this fake? Oh, and I remember Goldberg saying it's not fake, it's choreographed. I'm like, oh, that's a better word.
Belzer had a syndicated radio show that was like a Tonight Show kind of show.
Yeah.
And he would interview. It was called Almost Live.
Yeah.
And he would interview the bands, and then they would play music from the bands. And it was really cool because it was 80s new wave and punk bands and stuff. And he's also amazing on a couple of the National Lampoon albums. One in particular, That's Not Funny, That's Sick. And he does his radio talk show host. And Christopher Guest plays an older Jewish man, and he's like, "Hello, Dr. Blechlein?" Yeah, Rabbi, what's up? And he goes, "Recently, I lost my wife, Blechen, and I found as a man of 82 how to stimulate myself sexually. I walk with my walker naked. And pretty soon, my test, and they cut him off."
That's not dinner.
And he
Yeah,
goes, Bill Murray is the guy saying, "Hey, if God is Catholic, why did he let President Kennedy die?" And he goes, "Oh, beats nailing him up." You know what I mean?
Oh,
Cruel. I know. I'm sorry. I whatever. Hey, God, I'm sorry.
that's funny.
2,000 years, kids. Tragedy plus time. I don't know how to break it to you. Jesus died. This
You know that Naked Walker thing reminded me of a joke.
Naked Walker is my favorite Technical Picture episode.
What did one saggy boob say to the other saggy boob?
Oh.
I don't know.
If we don't get some support soon, people are going to think we're nuts.
I like it. That's a good dad joke.
Thank
There
you.
go.
Thank you.
That was
Naked
good. Yeah.
Walker.
Skunk
Naked
didn't
Walker.
like that joke. He
That's
didn't-
the new CW show. The kid from Supernatural. That's new Walker.
Speaking of Walker, I used to work at Barnes and Noble. At one time, someone came in and asked for a Christian book by I can't think of it. I believe his name is Charles Norris, and Chuck Norris actually did write some sort of religious book, and I was shocked when it was there on the shelf. I couldn't believe it. Chuck Norris,
Here, I'll beat the hell out of you.
Charles Norris.
Charles Norris. Oh,
Charles Knowles.
She
Like
didn't
I
know
said,
him for.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. You know, the Wasp is hosting Ant-Man at the club tonight.
Jenna Van Dyne. Henry Pym the third.
I don't believe that Scott Lang is Jewish, so he can come into the club. It's I laugh. My two nephews, their family goes back to President McKinley. Their last name is McKinley, and they are direct descendants. And their grandfather and father belonged to this Hotsy Totsy country club in suburban Chicago. And there are times that they have Christmas morning at the club, and it's like, oh, what'd you guys do for Christmas? We were at the club. I'm like, oh, that's wonderful. I hope you have some good hors d'oeuvres and champagne. Oh,
Did you get a
Pembroke.
ticket for your jacket? The valet will be around.
Stanley, and I've learned my lesson from previous years. Any thoughts on the Oscar-nominated movies?
Yes.
As we know, Artie doesn't want to see any of them. So
Outrageousness.
I
the last
predict-
one I watched.
I predict that one of them will win an Oscar.
there you go.
I am proud. I watched the Oscar. Was the music one?
Hey,
Not
Oscar.
the Oscar. The Grammys, and they had 50 years. Hi, Oscar. They had 50 years of hip hop, and
50 years.
they started the show, and I knew all of them. I'm like, wow, I remember all of this. I felt cool, like I knew who they were.
I loved there was coverage of the Grammys in one of the British newspapers, and best songwriter Bonnie Raitt beat Taylor Swift and Rihanna, and their headline was obscure blues singer beats Rihanna and Taylor Swift, and it's like, hey, F you, Bonnie Raitt is a legend. I'm sorry you don't know who the hell she is.
I just hope she's not sick, because they usually give those when they, or I don't know if she won before. Because they always give them to the older ones when they finally should get one, or they're
before
sick.
they die.
Yeah, I hope hope she's doing okay.
I don't know,
because I saw that too.
But it's interesting. Barry Diller, who used to be the studio head for Fox, was talking about the Oscars in an interview, and I kind of agree. Even though there are more mainstream movies that are nominated this year, God, man, during COVID, there were quality movies, but they were so hoity-toity, esoteric. That it's literally, it's like, okay, who's watching these movies?
Nobody cares.
Because decades ago, decades ago, they were mainstream movies.
Mm-hmm.
Cary Grant, Charlton Heston, Eileen Dunn, and Barbara Stanwyck, and all these great old Hollywood women, and then were nominated for movies that everybody saw.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, again, you want prestige movies to be recognized, and certainly more foreign movies, and I think that's a great new development. But basically, Barry Dill's I don't think the Oscars are relevant anymore.
Nobody knows what the movies are they're showing.
Right. Yeah.
Is Meryl Streep in it? I remember her. That's all.
She's one of the last.
Movie stars had presence, and you would see the movie because of them. And now I don't know if that's. Yeah, I don't know if that's
one for Philadelphia. Sure,
still a thing, I guess, but not as much.
Top Gun Maverick is in there for Best Picture.
Yeah,
Avatar 2, which shocks the hell out of me that it's there for Best Picture.
I'm never gonna watch that.
I didn't even know.
Already on the same way. I have no.
First one was awful.
But it's an interesting idea that with all the streaming services and what we're seeing now, that the idea of a movie star is no longer a movie star.
Agreed.
You used to go to the movies because that's the only place you would see them, and you would see them written up in magazines or newspapers when they went out on the town. But now they're streaming their own, their own goings on, and everybody's everywhere, and streaming is there. I think the concept of a movie star is dead.
It changed, and I know one of the Marvel actors were talking about it. Where I think it was a guy who plays a Falcon. I forget his name, but he was talking about
Anthony Mackie.
Yeah, Anthony Mackie. He was talking about the Marvel movies don't have movie stars. They have characters that people want to see. Like they said, I want to go see Thor. I want to go see Captain America and Iron Man. And the stars don't overshine the character. And he said that's the problem with. I heard him say that. That's the problem with a lot of movies now. People go because it's a Spider-Man movie and not because it's the new, Tom Holland movie.
But I think that plays into what I was saying about there not really being a movie star anymore because everything's just so fragmented.
Yeah, and
you can only see Star Trek on Paramount Plus, and you can only see Star Wars on Disney, and the whole concept of these people being big movie stars, like Tom Cruise, I think is really one of the last
he still has it
movie stars
Brad Pitt,
of ever, really.
Right. And he I remember 10 years ago Jodie Foster saying, I'm never going to do a streaming television show.
Yeah.
And I understood, and she's like, I like movies. Well, the sad reality is, and it's something I've been talking about on Word Balloon forever, is the fact that the television show is a bigger canvas. You could do something in 4 hours, 6 hours, 10 hours, whatever, and tell a more complicated story that is story and character than a 2-hour movie. And look at Harrison Ford. And I mean, he's got a brand new one now on Apple TV with Jason Segel, but he's doing that 1923 Yellowstone prequel with Helen Mirren.
And you should never say never, because isn't Jodie Foster doing a TV show now? Isn't she doing like a True Detective or something like that? I think.
Oh, that could be. And again, this was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But how times have changed. And even Scorsese and Coppola were complaining about movies are carnival rides now. And we need the big spectacle movies to see on the big screen.
Yeah.
Why would you see the romantic comedy on a 20 or 40-foot screen?
Yeah.
When it's going to be on streaming or cable within 6 months, and that's the long period. Normally, God, with the streamers, it's 5 weeks after
didn't that Margot Robbie, Brad Pitt, Babylon movie? It's on streaming already.
It's on Paramount.
It was like 2 weeks ago. It was in the movie theaters.
Yeah, there's one with a train too with Brad Pitt. I wanted to see that one.
Bullet Train. It's on
Bullet Train. Yeah,
it's actually really entertaining.
Yeah, it's a fun
I want to
movie.
see. People told me to see that, and I think one of the movie stars you mentioned, I think Leonardo DiCaprio still has that presence too, when he makes movies that are big movies that are on should be viewed in the theater.
I'm saying that there's very few between, far and few.
Yeah, there's not many.
I don't count on your hands the amount of movie stars that are left.
Also, what I'm saying is that there's not going to be really any going forward. I don't see that happening. I think Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Cruise, these are like the very few that are left.
Right.
And when they die off or don't make movies anymore,
they're not making new guys. They're not making new actors to do that. Nope. They're not. There's no new guys who can carry a movie like that.
I'm sorry, Skoke. Yeah,
that's okay. I was just going to jump in. You can see this trend of there not being movie stars now. The trend started back early 2000s. I mean, in Spring Break Lawyer, we were an ensemble. There really wasn't a star per se in the film. We were a team, and that's just
You made it all work together.
That was the start of.
Finish your thoughts, Go.
That's it. Yeah, I meant to trail off.
I saw the ellipsis pop out of your mouth. Yeah. The Sunset Boulevard, the old 50s movie that Billy Wilder made with the silent star Gloria Swanson, who was playing a parody of herself. And William Holden goes, "Oh yeah, you're Norma Desmond. You used to be big." And she's like, "I'm still big. It's the pictures that got smaller." And it's true. And here we are 60, 70 years later. And it's totally true.
I do love Carol Burnett version of
those are funny, those sketches.
Wait, think about too, all the stuff we saw as kids in the movie theater is still in the movies. Like Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Batman.
But I have to confess that starting with Ant-Man, although I haven't seen it, Ant-Man, Creed 3, Shazam, even there are a bunch of, and certainly Indiana Jones in the summer. There are several movies coming up in March and April that I have to admit I do want to see in the theater.
Oh, I want to see all of it. I want to see Indy. I think that one looks cool. Indiana, no.
Let's I want to see Flash. Honestly, I want to hear what you guys. Yes, I want to hear what you guys think of again the James Gunn.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, and I mean the first row. That's all the stuff that was produced before James Gunn really got involved. And I like that they're calling them Elseworld movies.
Already?
Yes.
Oh, the bottom row.
The top row already. Well, that's the stuff coming up that he's calling Elseworlds. But he also, I think
he's calling them universe resets. It says.
Oh, excuse me. You're right.
Yeah.
Shame on me. I'm
the
reading.
Flash is up there. Yeah, the Flash is going to be the key because you could see Zod was in there and all these Batmans. And
put that up again, Johnny.
Sure.
Yeah, that's weird. It's like Shazam, Flash, Universe Reset. I have no idea what that movie's about.
Oh, the one in the middle?
There's Blue Beetle and Aquaman.
Yeah, I think that's the status quo.
I like it.
But I'm of the ones that James has announced his projects, which is that middle section.
Yeah.
What are you excited for?
Definitely Waller.
Yeah, that's the best. I'm going to buy every DVD.
I think she's a great character.
You know what really speaks to me out of that whole middle section is the Creature Commandos. Even though it's animated, I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Oh, is that animated?
Yeah.
Yes.
Brave and the Bold, that's live action, right? Brave and the Bold Batman?
Yeah, unless it says animated, I think they're
going to be Brave and Bold is going to be Batman and Damian and their story.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. The Authority, I think, much like Guardians, is a great left field. Can't wait to see it. Excited for Lanterns, and especially in that James Gunn video, they were using Gabriel Hardman's Green Lantern Earth One, those graphic novels that weren't part of regular DC continuity, but he was using those to illustrate Lanterns. And I really hope that means that's the direction he's going in with that.
And didn't James Gunn say somewhere that the Batman, the Brave and the Bold, that movie Batman is going to be a new Batman? It's going to be not Ben Affleck
Correct.
or anybody. It's going to be a new Batman.
Correct.
And he said it's going to be about Damian Wayne.
Yeah. And what's Paradise Lost?
That's a Wonder Woman prequel, kind of in the vein of Game of Thrones.
Oh well.
Yeah, that should be cool. I'm hoping.
Go ahead.
I think I'm always, my obvious pick is Superman Legacy, but I'm real nervous about it. I hope they get him right, and just having the name Legacy in there, I feel it's not going to be about Superman Clark Kent. It's going to be about him. I have a feeling he's going to pass the baton to the new Superman, which I hope not. I hope it
might be his son. That's Superman's son.
That's what I was thinking too, especially
unless
it'll be Clark and John. I think so too.
Yeah, if it's that's cool because that's similar to the TV show. But I really want them to establish what Superman Clark Kent is all about, and you can have the other guy in it as a sidekick or a partner, like not as the main guy, And I really hope the end of the Flash movie shows a glimpse of a Superman, either the new actor from this movie or Henry Cavill in some kind of cameo, because he's obvious in that world, because Zod and the Earth Destroyers and all that stuff is in there. So hopefully they show him. I don't know if they will, because they kind of replaced Clark with the Supergirl, and it's the same story. It looks like from Flashpoint when I love that story when they rescued Superman from the government and he's real skinny, and then when he saw the sun, he got strong and flew away. And I remember Cyborg saying, "So that was your Superman," and he's just gone. Well, it looks like they're adapting that a little bit, but I hope that Superman makes an appearance or teases this new one. That's the one I'm looking forward to most, but I'm also most nervous, and I hope it makes me care a whole bunch about these, and not just be nervous, because I care about them, but I'm also nervous. Like, man, because they're gonna try it again, and what if they mess up again, and then they got to reboot it again?
I don't think they will, Artie, because I really think James Gunn has proven himself with both of the Suicide Squad movie and the Guardians stuff, that he understands these characters and knows how to make good film and TV from them. The Peacemaker TV show as well. Stanley wants to know our thoughts on Tom King's involvement. I am thrilled. I love Tom. He is one of my favorite people in comics. And Supergirl World of Tomorrow, Gunn was very, very specific in saying that it's inspired by Tom and Bickless Elvie's miniseries comic book. And also in other interviews beyond the video that he did for all of us, Gunn is very, very gushing about, so glad I'm working with Tom, and it sounds like Tom is in the writer's room.
Cool.
So beyond the Supergirl movie, I think he has a huge involvement in all of these.
And that was a current run, because I know we found some of the books at the store, and there were variant covers on it, and so we have them on sale too. And I'm hoping that it's going to be cool. I'm always nervous anyway.
I haven't seen you this nervous since you fell into that nest of gun dogs.
So I'll run in to rescue you, Master.
Oh, yes.
What about the Blue Beetle?
Wayne points out that the reason why it says Universe Reset is because the Flashpoint movie, much like the comic, ends with them moving forward. I'm curious about the Blue Beetle movie.
The Beetle.
I hope that Ted Kord, I hope Booster even makes an appearance.
That'd be cool.
Set up what they're going to do with Booster in his own property.
I kind of like they left the Joker in the current Batman movies off to the side by themselves, because that's all stuff that was already happening before this reboot. So I like that, because those are still good.
I agree. No, well, that's already in the comics it's a new status quo already. But a couple of years ago they called it Infinite Frontier, And the idea was,
Well,
if you
yeah.
have a good story, it doesn't have to tie to the current DC universe. And obviously, they're still doing things like that with Black Label. And
Well,
I
yeah.
think all those books are still
It
interesting.
also
Now,
like almost like Elseworlds tales,
Yeah.
kind of. Yeah.
and that's why they call them Elseworlds. So
Yeah.
I think that's really smart.
And
One of the movies.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was going to say that one of the movies that's not on this list here I saw recently, Black Adam, which I
Yeah.
have to say I did not think was a bad movie. I thought
I
it
agree.
was a decent movie. It looked great, like
I
the effects
I
and everything were
loved
good.
all the JSA stuff.
I
Yeah.
did too.
Hawkman and Doctor Fate.
Dr.
stuff.
Fate was excellent. I wanted to
Amazing.
see more of him,
Yeah.
and The Rock was good. It just felt like it had been done before. Like if it had come
Yeah.
out like 10 years, 20 years ago, maybe
Right.
it might have had a different impact, but it
There
just
was
felt
nothing special in it.
yeah, we've seen
Right.
the story already.
Did you read the article about how bad the relationship between The Rock and Warner Brothers got? The Rock has a tequila company, and I guess for the premiere, The Rock insisted that Warner's provided a full tequila bar, which was not cheap. I mean, it might have been. I didn't see a number, but it sounded very, very costly. And as we all know, Black Adam underachieved as far as box office goes. So that's another reason why, beyond maybe James Gunn having other ideas than whatever The Rock had for Black Adam and Henry Cavill,
Oh.
Superman, and the like, that they're like, there's the door. Don't let it hit you in your ass. And it's crazy to hear that, because I have friends who have worked with The Rock, and again, they are working with him, but I've only heard nothing but great things about him. And by the way, talking about sitcoms, I love Young Rock. Chucky
Yeah.
really sucked me in on Young Rock.
Chucky.
It's
And
good.
it's
I've only seen most of the first season, so I have to catch up. But it's
very
really
fun.
funny, really clever. Yeah.
And even, and I'm not a modern wrestling guy like you guys are, but I am an 80s and territory era wrestling guy, and it is
Yeah.
so much fun covering those years in Young Rock, and I think they really capture the spirit of that period.
I need to see it.
I'm not much
think
into
you'd like it.
wrestling. That I listened to an episode of Mark Maron's podcast recently. He's not into wrestling either, but he was curious, and so it's a compilation of a bunch of interviews he did with different wrestlers. And I thought it was really interesting, not knowing much of anything about it or the business. They really go into the behind the scenes, and there's some guy who created like his own wrestling, what would you call it, league or something? Yeah. And he was talking about how he did the spinoff, how much he loves it, how much time he puts into it, and just the masterminding of all the storylines. I didn't realize there was so much to it. I was impressed.
Yeah, I listened to those too. And the guy you're talking about is Tony Khan, and he
That's
started
it.
in AEW wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah, those are good. But Mark Maron says he doesn't know, but he was actually in that show.
Glow.
That
Glow.
yeah,
Right.
Glow.
Right. Well,
Yeah, he was good in there. Yeah, he was good.
It was a good show.
I just saw his stand-up, which is dark but excellent. It's on HBO Max.
He just sits in a stool, right, and talks. Is that the one?
No, he's walking around the stage talking, but he talks about unfortunately his girlfriend died during COVID.
Maron's stand-up, yeah.
Right at the height of COVID, having nothing really to do with COVID. But it's I think the special, don't quote me, but I think it's called From Dark to Bleak. He starts out really dark and then just descends, but it's good. It's funny, but it's makes you think about stuff too.
Artie, you haven't watched Young Rock?
No, not yet. I
You'd
see
really
it,
like it
and I want to
because
see it.
Rock's grandmother ran a territory, and then
cool.
his dad split away from his mother to create his own federation. And this is all happening when Rock's a young kid.
Mhm.
And it's great because it really has three different points in his life: when he's a little kid, when he's a teenager, and when he's an adult finally getting into things. And Doubt was saying tonight's episode, they were reenacting Rock's Saturday Night Live appearance.
Oh, cool.
And a couple weeks ago, they did the Voyager when he was on Star Trek Voyager. And they covered that. And
And I know Becky Lynch plays Cyndi Lauper in it or something like that.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
It's fun. And again, it's like, it really is a history of the territory era of wrestling. God, I remember Roddy Piper, before he died, gave some amazing interviews about himself and other contemporaries of his from the territory years. And oh my God. And also, I mean, I had the good fortune of meeting and saying I would never claim to be friends with him, but we were good acquaintances. Bobby the Brain, Bobby Heenan.
Yeah.
And Bobby would tell me these amazing stories about the territory days because he would come to the Score, the sports station we were at, and we'd take him to dinner, and he was on our TV show a few times, and just a sweet, funny, down to earth guy. And really, especially during the WCW, WWE
Good stuff.
wars,
Monday Night
and,
Wars, yeah.
yeah, and you know,
NWO.
like he and a bunch of guys defected to Turner, and he's like, you know, he's like Ted loves wrestling, and never forgot about how important the what's his face years before WCW, the AWA years.
Yeah.
How important that was for the growth of WTBS, his superstation
Yeah.
across the country and stuff. Ric Flair and those guys and stuff.
Yeah.
Really, really interesting stuff. And again, I mean, I love seeing Daniels and your friends of wrestling and everything. But yeah, man, no, I'm the guys that I knew growing up and in college. Those are the guys that I like.
Mm-hmm. Dick the Bruiser, the Crusher.
Sal and I that's another cool thing I did this week. I won't go into detail, but Sal Abinati, he's a fun documentary, and I got to be one of the talking heads on it. And he and I and the film crew were talking about the old territory days, and wouldn't that make an amazing documentary or a podcast about Bob Luce was our Chicago territory guy. And Andre the Giant from New York would come and he would wrestle, and Jimmy Superfly Snuka was a great guy that would
Snuka, yeah,
tour around and stuff. Bobo Brazil, very cool, very very cool.
I like it.
So yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm sure the audience is well aware of how great Young Rock is, and that's why it's a shame about Black Adam with the Rock, because we were waiting for literally 14 or 15 years for that movie to happen.
Yeah, it's sad too, because I watched the behind the scenes that was because I got it on disc from the library, and the detail they went into. They used the volume thing that they used on Mandalorian and some other stuff.
The virtual set, the virtual
they used that on there, and people are just talking about it. It's just so much work, and to have it come out and just be and then go away and not be part of the future. It's just so sad to see that happen.
He looked good as him. You felt like he was hard, like his skin was invulnerable. And, I always thought thought of him. I thought he would have been. He's a perfect cast for Black Adam, but I think he's also perfect for Shazam. Now, I always thought, wouldn't it be cool if he did both roles, and they just looked the same, but he would act like a kid with one guy and act mean with the other. I said, man, that would have blown everyone's mind. And I think that would have been acceptable with the comic book people watching that. It's like, I get it. It's two sides of the coin,
Absolutely, Artie. And I also thought, from a Marvel standpoint, although I like the guy they ended up using, I always thought The Rock would have made an excellent Namor.
Yeah, he would. Man,
being Samoan, being of that island descent,
and
it just seemed to fit more. And I mean, it just has that face and the eyebrows and everything. He, you wouldn't have to change a thing. Just put wings on his feet and put him in a bathing suit. And there's fucking
some pointy ears. Give him some
pointy ears for. I wish he had pointy ears for Black Adam. That would have been cool.
Why didn't they do that?
Don't you think it's an unreasonable expectation? Sal and I from Comic Pop, not Abinati, but Sal Crivelli. Both great guys, exactly. But we were talking last week from Comic Pop on Word Balloon last Friday, and I just think there's this unreasonable expectation from the studios when we grew up, a $200 million box office was mind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
And now they really are shooting for the moon. And if it doesn't make 800 million to $1 billion,
it has to creep up on Titanic. Otherwise, you fail. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's so dumb. And I understand, because they spend a shit ton of money, including Black Adam, on these movies. But it's like, have you not learned from the example of like Deadpool, where it was like 50 million and it made like 600 or 700 million?
Yeah,
it's like publishing your own comic.
I haven't seen the Avatar Way of the Water movie.
Yeah, me neither.
But I heard it's doing gangbusters at the box office. But I want to speculate as to why. Like if the story is kind of like mediocre or just middle of the road, why is it doing such big numbers? Because they want to see what James Cameron did on screen.
I think so.
So does it translate? And if that's true, does it translate to 3 and 4? Because he's saying that he's doing both of those. And if he's putting as much money into 3 and 4 as he did the first two, is it all going to be a wash because the first two did really well and the second two aren't? I don't know. It's weird.
Guys, I gotta go. It sounds like the one. Of
Yeah,
the
it's
kids
about
are-
time you
Oh.
left. We're kind of getting
Yeah.
sick
Yeah.
of you.
You'll be right back.
right
though.
You've
back.
been
But I'll
talking nonstop.
I'll
Yeah,
see you
goes-
at C2E2.
Yeah, man.
Sorry,
We'll
yeah.
eat some Harold's.
To the
Yeah,
buzz.
We'll get some Harold's and some Rickabennies.
sounds
You got
good.
it. Yeah,
Alright.
sir. You're a good man.
Yeah. I'll see you guys.
Later.
Dot
Okay,
says,
bye-bye.
Dot says Avatar 2
Ooh,
is
yeah,
pretty to look at, especially in 3D, but the story isn't good. That's my
that's what I
fear.
heard. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
And,
see,
and
that's
yeah,
what I'm
you're
saying.
right.
Yeah.
You're right, Francis. I don't know what's going to happen to Avatar 3 and 4. Well, there was even that Valerian that Luc Besson made, and everybody, Luc Besson,
Mhm.
great filmmaker, and that was a really expensive movie. Bomb, and
Nobody
it's like,
cared. Yeah.
yeah, nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Same with John Carter. Nobody cared.
Yeah.
Nobody cared. Nobody went.
And that was a shame because I was really looking forward to John Carter.
Yeah.
And watching that movie, you could see the potential. You
Yeah.
could see where and it wasn't a bad movie,
No.
but just the way they marketed it and
Exactly,
handled the whole
Just
thing.
slow parts.
But
And,
it was
yeah,
okay.
like,
But I'm like,
yeah.
man, the potential was there.
Just like The
Yeah.
Rocketeer back in the 90s. Should have
Mhm.
been a huge movie,
I
but they
think
didn't know
John-
what
yeah.
they marketed it in the wrong way.
They
Absolutely.
didn't know. I think John Carter was the main guy. They shouldn't have used him. That's the start, I think. He doesn't feel like a leading hero.
Oh,
rugged.
you mean the actor that
like-
played John Carter?
Yeah, he was a little he seems like a secondary character. Like when he was in that Wolverine movie as Gambit and when they fought, that felt right. But for him to be the lead, I think that was kind of where they went wrong. It's just the feeling he got from that guy. I don't know.
Well,
He was great. He did good, but he didn't have that look to his face. He didn't
it's-
look Flash Gordon-y to me.
It's
Yeah.
an Edgar Rice Burroughs property, obviously.
Yeah.
Contemporary with Tarzan, as far as when Burroughs made it. I think it's more that they just two things. One, poorly marketed, and so many other movies and IPs have borrowed ideas from John Carter
Right.
that by the time the movie came out, it's like, well, this looks
We've
like
already seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Attack of the Clones, for example.
Yeah.
It's a big part of that arena fighting,
Yeah.
or even Ragnarok. That kind of arena fighting, Burroughs did it literally decades before
Yeah.
Lucas and the Marvel guys did it in their movies.
Yeah.
And again, the audience is only aware of what is released and when it's released. And it's like, oh yeah, this is too familiar with these other, like, we like Star Wars better. We like
Yeah.
Marvel movies better.
Whenever you put a sci-fi movie in the desert, people always think Star Wars, but that's actually comes from John Carter, comes from Dune.
Mhm.
But the Star Wars made it popular. They made it the best, I think. Well, people remember,
Doubt says that the fact that John Carter bombed as bad as it did, it likely derailed
sure.
Taylor Kitsch doing the Gambit.
Yeah.
film that they
Yeah.
talked about.
I
Yeah,
haven't
sure.
seen that guy in a
But
while.
I love the Rocketeer movie. I think that's great. But
Yeah,
it
me
just
too.
didn't,
great
you know,
movie. Absolutely misunderstood. Again, the way they tried to market it, they marketed it as a kids movie,
Mhm.
and it's like, no, man, this is Indiana Jones all over again. Kids can
Yeah.
see it, but you really kind of blew it with the adult audience. I mean, like James Bond is the bad guy, as the Errol Flynn Nazi.
Timothy Dalton.
Yeah.
Thank you, Timothy Dalton.
Uh-huh.
And of course, the always flying
The blimp.
Jennifer Connelly.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Yeah.
I mean, those
fine.
are adult ideas in this great adventure movie, and it's like, what do you? It's not
See,
a kid movie. It's
that's
not
why
a
I
kid
think, that's why I think 80 for Brady could have done so much better because they marketed that for an older crowd when they should have marketed it for kids. So they could have broadened their
That's
base
true.
more, I think.
I think
That's
what
me.
killed the Rocketeer also was the word Disney on top of the poster, because at that time everything Disney was for kids, and that's why they had to make that what's it, Touchstone
Mhm.
with Beverly Hills
Yeah.
movie,
Yep.
and that one was successful. And then when you say, "Oh, that's Disney," oh, it is. If they put Touchstone pictures on that thing, it might
that
have
was
been.
that was their
Might have
more adult
Yeah,
movies.
it might have
Well,
been. It might have made it.
But also, if they had called it Warlord of Mars, like the Edgar
Yeah.
Rice Burroughs title, but you guys probably remember
Yeah.
they had a cartoon called Mars Needs Women or Mars Needs Mom and Moms. and it totally bombed. And idiots in the marketing department, oh, Marv's is bad. Don't put Marv's in salt.
Marv's a tax
John
worker.
Carter, and it's like, isn't that the guy that was the president after Ford? No.
Yeah, but
no.
John Carter's from Terminator, isn't he? You know, that John Connor.
John Connor, absolutely.
That's what I thought it was when I first saw that.
My favorite line from
Mario.
Out and Out in Beverly Hills, that movie that you're talking about, was when Richard Dreyfuss, when Nick Nolte puts the rocks in his pocket and dives in the pool, and Richard Dreyfuss is running, saying, "Call 911, call 911," and he's got the phone in his hand.
Yeah.
He's like, "Somebody call 911, call 911," and he's got the phone in his hand.
That's a very funny movie. Richard Dreyfuss.
I remember seeing that.
Go Mavs, Mario. Thanks for the Christmas card, by the way.
Oh yeah, I got one too.
Me too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Go Mavs, Johnny. You like that?
Yeah. I'm thrilled.
Go Mavs.
Mario, save your time in typing. I don't care where they are in the standings. If they play tonight, I don't care.
Oh,
I care.
I'm just blowing you shit, dude.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Opening day, April 1st.
What's oh yeah.
Baseball tickets now.
All right, and as we know, it's 50-50 where we'll see snow in April, and will it impact a Cub game? That's a home game.
It's possible. I remember one year it was delayed 14 days because it was snow. There was snow on all the fields.
Always.
Always.
I broke Mario's heart. Oh, Johnny. Well, you know.
Yeah, he's all right.
Why don't you call Mark Cuban and commiserate? That's all right. Don't worry.
No soup for you. Yeah.
Very funny. We'll see. I mean, no, I'm excited. My buddy Jesse Rogers.
I like Jesse.
Who covers the Cubs, both home and on road and stuff. He'll be incommunicado until the fall, depending on how the Cubs do.
Did the White Sox get a new manager?
White
after
they got a guy from Toronto, from the World Series winning Toronto Blue Jays, but I forgot his name already. But yeah,
it's not Gaston. He's far too old.
Yeah, they got the coach, one of the coaches from there, and some of the coaching staff that he worked with. So hopefully they do well. And they got Benintendi. They're making a big deal about him. And I remember watching him. I think he was on Yankees, maybe. I can't remember what team he was on.
Tex Avery, I'll be back.
But he was okay. He was okay on there. But
say
we'll
white,
see.
white. Say socks. Say White Sox. White Sox.
White Sox. White Sox. That's how Chicago Sox. Go Sox.
I like how we got all serious about stuff there for a while.
Yeah.
They're talking about the Rocketeer.
Yeah. So hopefully
South
baseball.
when we talk about the Mavs.
I haven't heard baseball making any big moves, any Chicago teams making big moves. But for the beginning of the year, it always looks promising.
Are they making new changes to rules this year? They have a pitch clock now, right?
Yeah, they're going to do a pitch clock. I think it's 20 seconds per pitch. You only get 20 seconds. And there's other things. They keep adding things because baseball thinks that people are bored watching the game.
Takes real long.
Yeah, I'd rather if baseball fans like that though. I like the strategy, but a pitch clock makes sense, I guess. Because if you get,
I think the baseball fans are getting older and dying off, and there's not new ones coming in behind them.
Like comics, yeah.
No.
But
comics had a little bit of a reprieve with these Marvel and DC movies, I think.
Possibly.
Maybe if they they should start putting a stick of gum in with the comics. Maybe that would boost some sales. Come on.
Yeah, and make sure that it's gum that tastes like tar and it's so hard and doesn't keep well. I hate the pitch clock. I hate it. I mean, I don't mind instant replay. I think instant replay is a good idea.
Yeah. You only get,
I think the last 20 years, the umpires have gotten so many calls wrong.
Right. And the instant replay does affect big time. It affects the game.
Yes.
And but they each only get like 2 or 3 calls or something throughout the game, or maybe.
Well, and that's fine because honestly, I don't think there are more than that.
Isn't that the same thing in like the footballs?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
I do like it. Yeah.
There was a boxing match, and there is no instant replay necessary, and it was taking place on a Native American casino territory, so the state rules didn't apply. And there was a fight that had to be stopped because of a really bad cut, and the referee was going to call it and said, "Oh, there was a headbutt," and the commission is like, "There was no headbutt," and literally they overruled the referee, and They weren't
Oh.
planning on doing it replay, but it was on ESPN, and they're like, "Can we use your footage and go back and look at it?" And it took like 10 minutes, and the fight was over, and they made the right call. And it's like, yeah, that wasn't a headbutt. The guy got hit by, and it was also, there's a house fighter and an opponent. The opponent won, and rightfully so. And it's like, don't deny this guy the win. This
Right.
guy worked hard and actually succeeded. Don't. Whoa, it was a headbutt. It's like, I don't know what that referee was doing. Maybe he was, maybe it was a legitimate thought, but it really looked suspect. And that's when you do need instant replay. And that's why I don't mind it in baseball. But the pitch shot clock, I'm so in agreement with you guys, and Artie especially.
Yeah, I like
baseball
watching.
It's a game of strategy.
Yeah.
So don't speed it up just for the sake of speeding it up. That's stupid.
Yeah, I like when every pitch, like you throw a ball and it counts, and you're like, oh, I like all these little things. I like when they had to throw 4 pitches for a walk. I'd like that too. Now they just wave it. They just signal, put the guy in first. I mean, that's okay. But when you throw them outside, it could affect the game. It could be a wild pitch. A guy could step over and swing at it. That happened before. So there's a lot of things that can happen.
It happened in the movies. I don't remember it ever actually really happening in games.
Yeah. I thought it was. I saw a video. I think it was Jose Canseco did that, or maybe it was that other guy, Ramirez, from when he was on Red Sox.
Oh, Edgar Ramirez, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, Manny Ramirez.
Oh,
I think he did that. I can't remember. I'm probably getting the names wrong, but I know there's videos. There YouTube. I watch YouTube baseball videos, highlights. But yeah, they're finding all kinds of ways to speed it up, and fine, I guess.
During lockdown, did you watch Korean baseball?
Some of it, and I watch.
I did too. It was great. It was fun.
They had the Spanish baseball too.
Sure.
They had the Nicaragua versus Mexico versus Cuba. I thought that was pretty cool.
Azzarello went to those because they, it's like World Cup. The countries play each other in championship baseball, and I know Azzarello went down to see some of those games.
Man, we were seeing just. I went to my son's college and we just hung out and we were watching something called banana baseball, and it was so weird. Like they have a guy come up. They have a guy come up on stilts to bat, and they have to throw it.
I heard about this. Yeah.
It was so weird, man. And then they get like a guy who has like 3 bats. He's holding a whole bunch of bats, and he swings. And like they get all kinds of weird stuff happens. And if the guy gets a hit, they got to take out. They just got all kinds of rules.
That's a couple that they bought a minor league field and team, and their attendance was so bad, and they were going to lose so much money that they decided to do all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And people started coming. I saw it on TV. People started coming to the games.
Yeah.
And now what they're doing is they're trying to kind of like franchise it out.
Yeah.
To other minor league parks.
But they had different. They showed the standings. They had other teams that were in the league, and I know there's one like a guy who will come up like with a big headdress and a shiny, fabulous dress, and he'll bat, or they'll use, instead of a baseball bat, they'll use something else, and it's so fun. It was really cool, and we didn't know what it was, and we just started watching. And the hardest part about it is to figure out what's happening because it's got the baseball rules, but like, what are they doing?
Bill Beck would have loved that. Bill Beck would have adored that. Yeah.
I think it's called banana baseball. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, we got to look it up. Put it
I
might watch it.
I like bananas when they're ripe.
I like banana. The green ones, plantains.
Yeah. The sports portion of the Oh Yeah podcast is brought to you by Push Pops. Don't push me. Push a push pop.
Push your pop.
Oh man, push.
What is the
at Big League Chew?
Big League. You remember Big League Chew?
Of
It was
course,
all shredded.
the shredded bubble gum that looked like tobacco.
Put it all in your mouth.
It's like a Gary Marshall commercial.
Yeah.
Big League Chew.
Big League Chew.
It's like tobacco, but there's no cancer involved. It's just
Cavity.
bubble gum, so you
The
might
sugar.
gain a little weight because of the sugar, but otherwise it's safe. Big League Chew.
And if you could fit the whole thing in your mouth, you were very courageous.
Oh
Very
yeah.
great.
You
We had
could
a
put banana
we had a
ball.
Life Goes On episode planned where Corky almost chokes on Big League Chew. The mom knew, the Heimlich. But
Gary Marshall's making that episode in heaven right now.
It's true. Got a story conference.
That's
How
a
about
good idea?
Joni loves St. Peter? All right, and then I got an in with Aaron Moran. St. Peter's not doing much. He's at the gate. Maybe they can fall in love. I don't know.
They make their own bubble gum.
Like, why do they have a gate around heaven anyway? It's like a
Because
gated
people are
community.
dying to get in
To
there.
keep people out.
But if you go up there and you're dead, aren't you already there?
People
Because
are dying-
the
people are
escalator
dying-
takes
no,
you.
you got to get judged. People
Yeah,
are dying
that's
to get
what-
in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Franco knows. Franco's seen the reality show.
Yeah, I went. Yeah, years
Because
of
if
my life.
yeah, because if both open, you're gonna go up instead of down. A pit opens and fire. Like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not going down that one.
Mhm.
And they're
What
like,
is-
no, sorry, buddy, got the other way.
Isn't St. Peter? What is St. Peter's role there? He's holding the clipboard.
He's
What is he doing?
Yeah, he's got
Yeah,
the
He's got
list.
a list.
Yeah.
He's probably has
Oh,
an
okay.
iPad now.
He's just checking to make sure you're on the list, and
There's
then
that Tennessee Ernie Ford song, "Smoke,
Mhm.
Smoke, Smoke That Cigarette," and he's like,
Mhm.
"See St. Peter at the Golden Gate, but you'll have to tell him to wait because you've got to have another cigarette."
Mhm.
Hmm.
What if he does like that now because he has an iPad looking for
There
the
you
game?
go. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can go swipe left. That's right. St. Peter has adopted the same rules
Yeah.
as Grinder and the other one. I
Just
forget.
hold on.
I like
I'll be right
that
with
we
you.
get all philosophical and we're going to lose a lot of audience. But do you think they had the iPad in heaven before we had it down
You've
here?
been attacking religion all
Yeah,
night.
It's
Absolutely.
called the
They've
H
been
pad.
ahead of they've been ahead of the game this whole time.
It's called the H pad. You know, they haven't. You made the
Swipe
list,
left
buddy.
to get in. Swipe left.
Swipe left.
That's
You
what
You know what my son and I saw? Speaking of things you're making up, my son and I saw Violent Night with David Harbour, the
Yeah.
Santa Claus movie.
Okay.
Mhm.
It was so fun.
Oh,
We-
good.
We were laughing hysterically. They're doing a sequel, but yeah, I highly recommend watching. I think it's on the Peacock.
understand.
I'm not
How
sure.
about the horror Winnie the Pooh movie that they're making a sequel of already?
Yeah, I heard about
Oh.
that. Yeah, Blood and Honey
Father.
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Oh,
got to make a
Father.
book, public
Piglet,
domain book.
Piglet gets a face full of cocaine and goes crazy and stuff.
Phew.
I thought that was Cocaine Bear. Yeah.
Of
Really?
course, Tigger is already amped up on cocaine. I mean,
Well,
that's
you
not-
said Tigger, right?
Yes, I
Yeah.
did.
Oh,
Don't
sorry.
worry. Don't
All
worry.
right.
Don't worry. It's a hard T. Yes. Don't misunderstand.
Or as he's known in the movie,
Thank you. Thank you.
he's called,
Yeah.
he's
Or
called,
we call him Trigger.
We
he's
call him
called-
Tigger.
he's called
Oh,
Penis
you know,
Cat.
let me say something appropriate, inappropriate.
They call him Penis Cat. in that
Penis
movie.
cat. Yeah.
Nice.
We'll edit that out. You know.
there's still time. That's not
There's still time.
live. It's not live.
Can edit
You
that.
know, I joined this dating site for arsonists. I got a lot of matches.
Yeah, I get it.
Oh,
You know, I used to, I,
I've already
used to date,
rumbled laugh going there already.
I used to date this optometrist, and I told her I didn't want to see her anymore, and she said, "Try again. Come closer. Try that line again." No, sorry.
Hmm.
Sorry.
That wasn't
There's
even his name. What the fuck? I'm sorry. I'm dropping an F bomb. What did that? What was that?
What?
Right.
would you hear the Invisible Man and Invisible Woman got married, and they had kids? The kids are nothing to look at.
I get it.
Welcome to hour 5 of the Oh Yeah podcast.
Mr. Joe giving you a laugh with every chew. Absolutely.
This is what happens when Scoot leaves.
Exactly. It's
He's missing it.
chaos.
and it falls apart.
He's missing it all.
Sad but true. We can wrap
Yeah.
up, you guys. I don't know if there's anything else.
Yeah, I got a phone call the other day, and I answered it, and the guy just kept coughing and sneezing.
That
I
was
was
me.
like, "Damn it!" I hung up and said, "Damn, I hate these cold calls."
All right. Well, on that note,
All right.
well, but actually, before we go,
That was funny.
Franco, you didn't mention that you've got a Fan the Moon panel at C2E2.
Oh, you do.
I do.
They
I'm
put
gonna
the
be-
schedule out, so I don't feel bad.
Yeah, next weekend, I'm going to be at Tucson Book Festival
Tucson.
in Tucson, Arizona. So I'm going to be there. If you're there, come see me. And then I do have a Faye the Moon panel at C2E2 on Friday. And then we're doing an Oh Yeah podcast panel on Sunday.
Oh,
We are.
I'm going to be there too.
True story.
I'm looking up my list because I've got several panels. First of all, of course, C2E2 on Sunday, or rather, the Oh Yeah panel at C2E2 on Sunday. I'm doing on Friday a comic book press panel that Chris Arant of the Popverse is moderating. And I'm also doing 8 Billion Genies, which is Charles Soule's and Ryan
yeah.
Brown's image book that has already gotten greenlit to be either a TV series or a movie as well. So that's 3. What's the 4th one that I was doing?
Cool.
Yeah, you're doing like 7 panels, you said, right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting to the ones that Mike Nagin. Oh, Svengoolie, of course. So I'm doing the
Nice.
Svengoolie panel as well. And then Nagin is like, "Hey, we need moderators. Can you help?" So on Saturday from 11:15 to 12:15, I'm doing the rise of young adult graphic novels, how they're bringing new readers to comics. Jeff Smith is going to be on that. Steens, who's a great creator, I really like her a lot. Kate Lay of Snapdragons and Lumberjanes, and Liana Kangas, Know Your Station. So they're going to talk. Then later that day, Saturday, World's Finest Storytelling, and that's going to be Zeb Wells, who I've never met before. Really look forward to meeting him. Azzarello, Stephanie Phillips, Kyle Higgins, our dear friend, and David Pepos, and they're going to talk about their DC and Marvel books. And then I'm doing a Jeff Smith one-on-one, and I'm really looking forward to that because I've meant to have Jeff on for years, and I'm really glad that this is happening. So yeah,
Steens is awesome. They were our editor on Encounter at Lionford. So
oh, that's great. No, they're terrific. She's I'm sorry, I don't mean to use the wrong pronoun because they are non-binary, but wonderful kid. Really like them a lot, and really got to know them. Steens was a Ringo Awards judge the same year I was.
Hello, Ringo.
We hung out.
Which one of you is Ringo?
I like Ringo.
Exactly. I think it's great.
I have something to plug. If I may.
Yeah.
I had very little to do with it, so I will preface it with that. But there's a movie called 52577 that was just released back in November on disc. It's streaming. It's on Showtime streaming.
Oh, cool.
It's about a kid who grows up in Wadsworth, Illinois, and he wants to be a Hollywood director. And he makes his own movies as a kid in his backyard, and his mom sends him out to LA to meet some of the people out there who are working on movies. And so this is kind of the story of his time in high school and how he wants to do this thing, but doesn't know how he's going to get there. And it's sort of autobiographical a little bit about the director, the guy who wrote and directed this. His name is Patrick Reed Johnson. And I have a very small role in the movie. I was an extra. I was in the background of a few scenes. I was also a production assistant on the thing, and they filmed it around the Chicago area, in the Wadsworth, Illinois area. So this would have been like 2004, 2005.
Wow!
So it's a long time coming. It took a long time to get here, but it's finally out and available to view. And there's a little bit of a Star Wars tie-in because 5/25/77 is the date, of course, that A New Hope came out in the theaters. So there's sort of that's sort of his part of his inspiration, and some of the people who worked on that movie were people he looked up to growing up as a kid. So yes, that's out there. It's out and available.
Nice.
And it's on Showtime streaming right now.
Correct.
Good to know.
Cool.
That's awesome.
And one other note, I've been bestowed with the honor of being Chicago Hire's Temp of the Month.
Yay!
Thank you very much. In honor of my work as a security guard, a proctor of the Chicago Police Detective Exam, and most recently operating the print room at a fine banking establishment. So thank you very much. Month of March. Thank you.
Everybody's getting awards. I got like a nomination for a teaching award.
Whoa!
Yeah, George almost something. But
is that from the New York Department of Education?
No, that's from a college in Massachusetts, Williams College in Massachusetts. Yeah, it came as a complete and total shock. So,
I don't know if we want to award this to this gentleman. He is Italian, but I suppose we can make an exception.
Yeah, they might, but it just always just an honor to be nominated.
That's great, man. That's
Yeah,
excellent.
that's pretty good.
I
Very
know the
cool.
feeling. Yes,
I like that hat too.
There you
Oh,
go.
Wolf Boy.
Stand by.
Yeah, it's classic.
We have some new Patrick the Wolf Boys out. Look at it.
Yeah, new comics.
So we have some. Well, actually, they're older comics. They're just re-released in color for the first time.
Yeah, new printings.
I was watching Artie color those Patrick comics on one of his fine, famous cartoonist videos that you can see on YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah.
So that's great. And Artie, seriously, as always, thank you for watching my bullshit.
Yeah, I
So-
like it. Yeah, when I'm working, I chime in and I said, "Oh, who's this guy?" I always chime in if I know who the guest is. I don't really watch the Star Trek ones with you guys.
Okay.
I
That's
do
all
for
right.
a few minutes, and then I like. I
We
don't know
got to
what they're
figure
talking
out
about.
because I should tease the next Word Balloon Live will be Monday, and our dear friend Mark Wade, the greatest Flash artist ever, will be joining us.
Nice.
Oh, very cool.
Talking about his current slate of books. that
Yeah,
are
I
just
got his Superman. His world's finest ones are really good.
really, really good.
Yeah.
He's running the Lazarus Planet event that is,
Is he?
Rebooting and setting the stage for a lot of new DC titles. He's the main writer and editor. I think maybe not editor, but definitely main writer of that. Not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow, I'm talking to the great Reggie Hudlin of Milestone Comics.
Oh, I like that guy.
His first issue of Icon versus Hardware came out this week.
Oh, cool.
But also, I love talking to Reggie because television director, film director, the guy behind two of the funniest teenage comedies of the 90s, and that's House Party and House Party 2. Play. And I say that with no irony whatsoever. Those are great teenage movies, and it's a shame that they don't make movies like that anymore.
Wasn't he? If I'm not mistaken, wasn't he a producer on Django, the Django, as we like to call it, Unchained?
Yes,
Tarantino and stuff.
absolutely.
Like that?
And also one of the producers of the Oscars a couple years ago.
Yes.
So
that's
right in time for the Oscars and stuff to talk to him about what he thinks of, like I said, that comment from Barry Diller really shocked me. It didn't, but then again, for a studio head or for a guy in the biz, he's not a studio head anymore, to admit, the Oscars really don't matter anymore.
Oh,
And it's kind of interesting.
they do to the people who win. They're happy.
Yes. Yeah, but again, I mean, a lot of these movies are like, movies.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, I'm really glad they opened things up, and as opposed to just best foreign film, that we're
Right.
seeing a lot more nominations for foreign movies. Rightfully so. It's a worldwide business. But yeah, it's I don't know.
It's true. It's all true, man. It's all true.
To say hello.
Oh yeah.
Deep
Hello.
Red
Yeah,
is here.
the end.
We like Deep Red. He's a good man.
If I may recommend, we had quite a bit of Trek talk today. Excellent conversation you had, Johnny, with Jonathan Frakes last year at some point. That's out there. That's available for your listening and listening pleasure, not
40
viewing, listening.
40 minutes of pure heaven, and I died. He even ended with "Live Long and Prosper," and I couldn't help but laugh. But
Cool.
he is such a good guy. I just watched him with Michael Rosenblum, Lex Luthor from Smallville, and his podcast, and he has a great conversation with him. I had no idea. He plays trombone, and obviously we saw him do it in Next Generation. He knew the band Fish, and they asked him to do this trumpet part or trombone part of a song, and he's like, it was too complicated. I couldn't nail it, but they put out 30 seconds of him doing it on this song, and it's called like Riker's Postbox. And it's because he lived across the street from Fisher's producer, and he had this really weird mailbox that he talks about in the story. But it's great, and it's on YouTube. You can find it. But it's so cool. And he's like, I'm not kidding. Outside of acting, one of my great accomplishments is being on a Fish album, playing my trombone.
Nice.
And that's awesome. He's so cool. I love
He's
that.
going to be at Terrificon with us. And his lovely wife, Jeannie Francis, will
And
be
Jeannie
there as well.
Francis. I wasn't sure if Mitch announced that yet or not, but I think he did.
I believe he did, yes.
Yeah, and that's great. And no, cannot wait. I love Jeannie Francis, Laura from Luke and Laura at General Hospital. She's still on the show. She's the
cool.
mayor. She's the mayor of Landview or whatever the town, Port Charles, on that TV show, and she's been on that show for well over 40 years or so. And I told him at the end of the interview, I'm like, hey, I hope I'm not being creepy, but I've always had a crush on your wife. And he's like, oh no, she loves to hear that. I'll let her know.
You're the one, huh? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm sure I'm part of
Stop
millions.
sending her those letters. Yeah.
Yeah, really, man. Oh, she's just adorable. And I love that they met on that miniseries, North and South, which prior to Next Generation was a big deal for Frakes and for Jeannie Francis as well. But that's where they met, and that's when they got together. Pretty cool.
I remember seeing that.
When is Terrificon?
End of July.
Yes. It's July this year.
The weekend right after San Diego.
Yes, that's right, Artie.
I'm gonna drink a lot of milk that month.
Artie, I hope you're going.
I'm planning on it. I got to finalize with Mitch, but I told him, hey, man, I want to go to your show. And he goes, we'll make it happen. Good. And that's
good.
Last we heard.
Really,
it's going to hurt, but it's going to be fun.
I mean,
it's going to hurt bad.
I forget who he's announced and not go to the Terrificon website to find out. But sometimes Mitch lets us know different celebrities and creators that are coming. Yeah. And a lot of our friends are going. A lot of our friends
it's going to be fun. And I know when I pack for San Diego, I have to pack twice because I'm going to pack a bag for San Diego and then bags for Terrificon because I land, I sleep for a day, and then I go back on the plane.
Yeah.
And go to Terrificon.
He's trying to convince some other creators that are going to San Diego and going, hey, before you come home, come to Terrificon the following weekend and stuff. Europeans, you're right. Because I'm wondering if it'll be cool, like to fly right from California, go right to Connecticut. But usually when we travel, we've been selling out of everything at our booth, so I don't want to go to Terrificon with sketch cards only. No, that's a good problem to have. Absolutely. Yeah. So that's cool because we only could bring what could fit in a suitcase, but I said Franco had a lot of action last year at his table. I saw it.
Oh yeah. Is Fonzie going to be there again?
I don't know if Fonzie's going to be there. Last year we got to hang out with Jeff Conroy a bit, and that was one of his last shows.
Oh yeah,
and it was great. My friend Susan Eisenberg,
Kevin Conroy,
yeah, she introduced us. I had Kevin on a couple times briefly, and I never expect him to remember because of the amount of interviews he would do and the people that he would meet. But he was very sweet, and we all sat in and had a cup of coffee and really enjoyed his hanging out with us. It was great.
That's cool. Yeah, I've been there. I think I only been there once, but it was a great time.
No, it's a fun show.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're on the East Coast, everybody, Terrificon's a great show. It's a chill show. And Franco and I are involved very much with Mitch, who, lets us get involved with the programming and such.
Yeah.
But it really is a great show. And it has fun celebrities. Reb Brown, the original 70s Captain America, got to meet him. Got to interview Billy D. Williams before Rise of Skywalker.
How you doing, Chewbacca?
Exactly.
Extra special treat. I drew the cover for the program.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. This year's program.
Collectible.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Wayne knows Terrificon is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Great bars, great restaurants. Mohegan Sun is a lot of people love Mohegan Sun.
I love that venue. Actually, my wife just bought tickets, so I think we're going to go see Bryan Adams and Joan Jett there in a couple months. So
that's fun.
That's great, man. That's great. I never remember that 80s band that we saw at the Wolf Lounge, but it always cracked me up.
Neither do I, but he's with the band. That guy's with the band. Yeah.
That and also just, man, they're really doing a great version of that song. And it's like, oh, that's actually the
Those
band.
are the guys.
Those are the guys.
It's like that Simpsons episode where they're like, oh, it's Silk, the Moody Blues tribute band. And then opening for Silk, the Moody Blues.
Yeah.
I'm sure if we go back and listen, Stoke will listen at some point because he listens to all the old episodes. He'll tell us who the band was.
Right.
I'm sure we said it in that episode.
He knows.
That's
He's
true.
waiting.
Wow, Wayne is right. This is how much Wayne loves Terrificon. He drives 9 hours from Canada to see it.
It's true.
That might be good.
Kurt Pierce, another a guy from I want to say Ottawa, or is that Wayne's? Is Wayne Ottawa?
Yes.
I don't want to know.
Right, and maybe not out of shame on me, man. I just talked to him last night. But Kurt Pierce, another really good Canadian writer who's writing some really great comics lately and stuff. I spoke to him last night, and he's from that. Wayne, correct me. It's the Providence that's just above Montana.
Oh,
they refer to it as Calgary.
Oh, Calgary. Yeah.
It was Calgary.
Chicago?
Not Chicago. It's as he said, apparently Calgary is the Texas of Canada, which I kind of like.
Oh, yeah. It used to be owned by Mexico.
No. I don't know.
Oh, I don't understand it.
If you're coming to C2E2, the panels, the schedule for the panels went live today on the website. So
cool.
you
Correct.
can check them out there. You
Correct.
can see Yoko Chips's, all of his panels, and these
Yeah.
guys, and
Yeah.
also the table, Artist Alley locations of everybody. That's up there
Yeah.
too.
We're
Check it
usually
out.
in XYZ, usually in the
Mhm.
last one in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
D. Brad's over there by Wayne. He's close to Wayne.
Well, they're just both. Well, Wayne is in Ottawa, but Brad is just pointing out that the Providence is Alberta, but Calgary is in Alberta.
They're close. They could drive, meet each other for lunch.
There you go.
Say, hey man,
Yeah,
want
man.
some cheesecake?
Hey,
And
man.
say, yeah.
Thanks
Hey
for
man, while
coming.
we're up here in Canada, why don't we
Yeah.
have that stuff they call Canadian bacon, my friend?
Hey man, over
Follow
here
us
we
when
just
you
call
see
it
us.
cake.
Yeah.
Yeah, follow us when you see us. Yeah, go to
All right, that's
C2E2,
it.
buy some
Yep.
stuff.
I like
We're
it.
gonna have a lot of new stuff. A
Like
lot
the
of
part
cool
where we're all going to
comments.
be at C2E2 and have a good time.
Mhm.
Follow us there.
Indeed.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Where the hell? There it is. All right.
no fight, no crime. Be nice to each other.
Okay, and don't forget, there's always a surprise after the credits. So until next time, bye-bye.
Say it. Say it. Say it.
Buy Webster the Spider Monkey #0, exclusive for C2E2
Say it.
at the end of March.
Say it.